Is everybody in chat going, "You're late"?
Yeah.
You're late.
I mean, a little.
All right. Okay, let's see what it says. It claims we're streaming.
There it is.
We're
I see
live.
it.
Okay. All right. Stream quality may be intermittent depending on how the internet's acting. My internet provider really sucks.
They literally send packets to him in the mail.
It's like old school Netflix.
This is actually a flip book that's been delayed by 10 minutes.
Sorry that we're late, guys. At least I got my coffee. And then before I went to bed last night, I took a laxative because I was really packed up good, you know. And so I'm about to go release that torrent here in a minute while our wonderful bearded host here entertains you. And then we will get started with the show. Exactly. Give us some sick beats, man.
What's like that classic news show like sound with all the swoops and stuff?
Yeah, I think you can actually like order those on Fiverr. There's a guy on Fiverr that does those. I should hit him up and get us like some intro music. That would be fucking awesome.
Yeah.
All right, wait. So Jerry's mic is off? No, it isn't.
Your main mic is off. It says.
Wait,
yeah.
What? Oh, is it not?
Is slightly weird on purpose.
Uh-oh. Is it not capturing the right mic? Hold on here.
Hang on. Let me mute. I'm gonna mute.
LG4.
Discord.
All right, there we go. I was on the wrong mic. Shit. Demonetized. Shit. All right. Well, where's my filters at? I gotta disable this high gain filter. Okay, that's better. Okay, is that better, guys? Can you hear me now? Wait, I'm mirrored? I am mirrored. God damn it, we go through this every fucking time. Wait, so... Wait, why am I mirrored? Why is Discord mirroring me? Uh-oh, we lost you. I am no longer getting an audio signal from you.
Sorry, I had clicked the wrong button.
Oh, okay.
Discord. Hello.
There we go. I got you now. I
forgot.
was like, you're reliving your life like
stream.
Like, what are you doing?
The stream, and so I was like 3 seconds behind.
Hey, do you remember how I flipped the feed? Like, did I have to add a transform to it or some shit?
Yeah, in OBS it's a transform. Under transform, it's flip.
I did it. I did it.
And you're on the wrong side.
Here, I'll move you over here. There we go. We're just doing some live composition while we're throwing this together this morning. All right, I think we are in the right places. I think audio is working. Sorry, guys, we both kind of got a late start this morning, so we're kind of wing dinging her today.
I literally got out of bed at 9 o'clock when I tweeted at you.
Dude, it was 9:15 when I rolled out of bed. I literally just rolled over and replied to you. I'm like, I'm up. Don't worry, I'm here. Okay, let me see. Let me open up my viewer activity feed. Okay, I think we're all good. I think I put in the title. I think I put in a thumbnail. I mean, I'm literally just running on hopes and dreams right now. Definitely need some coffee.
Baling wax. By baling wire.
All right, well, let's let some people wander in here before we get rolling full force. I'm going to go blow my ass out. That should take approximately 3 minutes because I think the turbo lax is kicking in.
And then wash your hands.
I will wash my hands. I am practicing good social distancing and hygiene techniques. All right, I'll be right back.
Oh, all right. So
gotta poop.
Wow. Well, Jerry's indisposed. Hey, thank you. SPS 25678 for $5. Let's start the morning off. All right. Thank you very much. Super awesome. I did notice also another question earlier from QA Library. Wonder how long Houston, so it's Houston, like Texas with an H. How long Houston Beard will get seeing hairdressers are closed. So not too much longer, actually. This takes if I were to start fresh, this length would take about 8 to 10 months, the better part of a year. It doesn't grow really, really fast, but it does get there in the end. So there won't be too much difference. It gets really kind of just kind of ragged along the edges. Mostly my barber just kind of keeps it trimmed and well shaped. Like like trimming when you trim the bushes into like dinosaur shapes and stuff. I am curious to see if people are like seriously trying to grow beards though, like since they're locked inside and all that. Hey, Mrs. Liz, I'm good today. Good to hear. Good. Martin Paoloni, what's up, man? Hello. Excuse me. Yeah, I hope everyone's having a good morning. It's a silent movie now. What are you talking about? Hello? No, yeah, topiary, right? Topiary arrangements. Yeah, like the cool, or like you'll see those twisty bushes. DDR5 thought? Probably not for a while. As far as motherboards go, it's been a graphics card thing for a while, but probably not mainstream for a bit, unless something's changed. I haven't heard anything new about DDR5 on desktop platforms. So,
What, Dance Dance Revolution 5's coming out?
Dude, they've got tons of DDRs like that.
Hey, did you already grab that super chat?
I did, yes. $5. Very nice. Let's get the party started.
$5 Renos. I love it. Because we're basically just strippers. So we're internet strippers.
Yeah, that's true. Somebody was asking about DDR5 thoughts, like memory.
Yeah, that's coming out here pretty soon, right? Or is it already out?
I haven't heard anything. It's still all DDR4 as far as I know. I know for graphics cards, we're up to 6. They have like a super high bandwidth memory sort of thing for graphics cards.
Oh, maybe that's what I'm thinking of. Because I was like, yeah, because GDDR5 is already out for graphics cards, right? The graphics DDR5?
Yeah.
Okay. So I know that AMD is now rocking the new motherboards of PCI Express 4.0.
Yes.
And so I'm actually surprised they haven't upgraded the MEM.
Yeah, Intel won't be until later this year, I believe.
Yeah, it's weird. It's weird seeing the mighty Titan Intel so far behind their competitor. Because Jay actually made a good point the other day. He was talking about how Intel kind of got complacent with the server stuff. And they didn't really care that AMD was kind of like eating their lunch a little bit in the consumer space. Like, it was not that big of a deal to them. But then Epic came along, and then it was like, oh, shit. Oh, man, we got to get involved in this. But what I don't understand is, when I worked at Microsoft, Intel was always like 3 or 4 generations ahead. Like, the stuff that we were working on in the SDVs we had were like a year, 2 years from production. And we were already using that technology in our testing. So I was like, why doesn't Intel just have like an ace in the hole right now? Or are they is AMD so much better with the 7 nanometer shit that like all their aces in the holes just got flushed?
That was something we mentioned. Actually, it got brought up at Puget during the November launches.
Yep.
Which actually, not to plug another channel or anything, but Puget Systems does have a podcast. So
you can talk about them
if you want.
You can talk about them all you want. I love them.
I do try to separate work and other work. So, but since this is related, that actually did get brought up. That like AMD's they've been at the top of the heap for so long, they must have been doing something with their money, and it's probably been dumping it into research and development. And while they haven't been successful on smaller, lithograph, right? They haven't been. They seem to have been like falling behind when it comes to like better technology in that space. They must have something, and they must not be all that scared right yet. I think we might be seeing something crazy from them once they jump on the PCIe 4 thing. I feel like a graphics card might be coming. Well, we all know that it is actually being worked on. They've advertised it and stuff. But like, I think maybe that could be a good bump for them. Maybe something else related to PCIe 4. Optane, right? They've been pushing Optane hardcore for fucking years, and maybe there's something there, some sort of like in between, like I don't know, RAM slot storage, essentially DIMM.2 or something like that.
What I'm wondering is, okay, the Optane thing. I know that that's been a little bit of a point of contention because that requires a PCI card, right? Like you have to actually have a PCI Express card, or is Optane now working through M2 interface?
As far as I know I have one early Optane product that fits into a M.2, like your classic M.2 SSD spot on a board. I know that most of the stuff that I'm familiar with has been PCIe, like SSDs essentially. They've got I think there's like 4x slot.
Yeah, because I've heard a lot of people complaining about like having a hard time getting Windows to boot on them, and your motherboard with the EFI has to like support it correctly, or it won't like put it in the boot order. And it's like people have not, but I never really revisited the technology because so many people were complaining about it. And SSDs were already getting so fast. What are they up to now? Like 6 gig a second read write or something on like modern M2s?
Yeah, SSDs are, especially with M.2, is wicked fast, just blazing fast.
Yeah, because I have the first generation of M2, and I think I'm at like 3 gig a second read write on like the old Samsung 960s. And now the next generation of those is like way friggin' faster. So I'm wondering if Optane like is even worth it, like in the long run, because it's really expensive too, isn't it? Like comparatively.
I'm not sure. I've been unplugged from retail prices for a while, so I'm not entirely sure.
Because I know that's why I didn't touch the Optane stuff. Is like I went and looked at it, and it was ridiculously expensive. Like for a 700 and some gigabyte, I think it was like they always had weird sizes too, like 768 gigabyte or something instead of 1 terabyte. And I went and looked at it, and I'm like, what, it was like $1,400 when I looked at it. I was like, I'm not gonna pay $1,400 for like under a terabyte. That's ridiculous.
I do think it's an interesting push in a good direction. I definitely think with things like U.2, where
what is U.2?
It's another I don't know if it's a transfer protocol. It's another version or another kind of thing like M.2.
Oh, okay.
Right? It's another interface with the board. And it's a weird little square looking thing. Kind of reminds me of the USB-A plug, right? It's kind of a big, it's about a half-inch wide or a half-inch square or so, and it plugs in there, kind of like serial attached SCSI, like SAS plugs, right? It's got a similar sort of like jack like that, and it'll octopus out into 4 plugs, and it's supposed to be wicked fast. It doesn't seem to have gotten picked up. It's still kind of there on the edges, but it's supposed to be wicked fast, and I just don't know if it's like a weird thing that nobody wants to pick up, or that everybody's leaning heavy on M.2.
Whose technology is it?
There. I don't know. It's a good question.
Because, I mean, this is like the first I've heard of it, so their advertisement must suck. Hey, SPS, thank you for the $5 super chat. He said, how is Bat Knife? I will show it to you right now. It is held under my desk by 2 neodymium magnets harvested from a WD green drive, because that's about all they're good for. At least the magnets in the hard drive work all right. Let's see. Patrick said HP has a really slow SSD compared to the small Optane cache. When buying, you want to avoid the Optane option to get a faster SSD. Ooh, that doesn't sound good. And Optane is a predominantly Intel technology, right?
What's that now?
Optane is all Intel, right? Like that's an Intel
theirs.
thing. Okay,
that's their thing. Yeah,
so that's them trying to cut out their own market for storage.
I definitely think that it's a push toward bridging or eliminating the gap between storage and memory. I really do think that that's their end goal, is that everything will be, all of your storage, everything will in a sense be like non-volatile RAM.
That would be
that fast. They're pushing really hard to get it to be that fast, and I definitely think that is a goal that's achievable. We're getting there.
Oh yeah, I know. Back in the day, we used to in the server racks at Microsoft, we used to have these RAM drives. You remember those, where you like plugged them into the PCI Express and just put a bunch of DIMMs on them, and it had a battery backup on it, and it would basically just take volatile memory and make it like long-term storage. And we'd run those in the servers, and they would like just boot up like instantaneously. But I think even back then, it's like they were nowhere near the speed that even modern SSDs are. So it's like, so it seems like the memory speed is still way outpacing. Like when we see like DDR5 come out, then it's just going to set storage back another generation because it's going to be nowhere near fast enough to keep up with it. You know what I mean? They're always going to be kind of at arm's length from each other. But I think that would be a cool goal if finally the people that are like, how many gigabytes does your computer have? Oh, 128 or something. They'll actually be talking about the combined storage and memory instead of getting them confused, because you always ask people, it's like, oh, how much memory does your computer have? Oh, I got 4 terabytes. It's like, I don't think you got 4 terabytes of memory, dude. And your
really
HP.
$25,000 on 128 gig RAM sticks.
Yeah, there's people that do it though. I mean, there's crazy people like Adam and stuff like that that'll like stick every freaking thing that'll fit in any hole in the computer just to occupy that space and put out as much heat efficiently as possible. How much do you think DDR7 RAM would cost if it came out? That is a really random question.
There's Puff, it just exists.
Yeah, it's gonna be like $1 billion because like we don't even have DDR5 yet, bro.
Oh man,
cabin fever is a terrible thing. Yeah, everybody's going Looney Boons, man.
It's true.
So have you caught the human malware yet?
Not to my knowledge.
Not to your knowledge? I haven't
I'm
either.
Asymptomatic, at least if I do.
That's good. Everybody staying healthy in your household?
Yeah. Everybody seems fine. But we're all doing our part to just stay inside or spacing out. Like, we like to walk around the neighborhood and stuff, but thankfully it's there's not a whole lot of people doing it. So
yeah.
That's
pretty ghost town out.
6 feet thing.
Yeah, it's pretty ghost town out here where I live too. Like, I go outside, it's like I maybe see like one car go by every minute or so, and then maybe see like a person on a bike every once in a while, and they'll look at me like I'm seriously a zombie. Like, if I'm outside and they're like riding by me, they're like, "Oh my god!" Other side of the street, down the sidewalk, don't make eye contact. It is weird, man.
I was doing Uber Eats in Bellevue, and I was downtown, like Bell Square area.
Yep.
Right, and I got street parking. Like, that's how dead. there's like unless it was like a condo building or apartment building or whatever, dead. Nobody, like 3 people walking the streets, just empty.
Dude, that's crazy.
It's weird. But Seattle's still popping. Like, I was down there a week ago or so, and it's still. But I think that's just mostly because like it's so dense. Like, even if it is only a few people walking around, that's still like a lot. So
yeah, plus in Seattle, it's like apartments are so small and everything like that. I mean, I don't see people realistic of being able to shelter in place for really long periods of time when they have like a house that's like 300 square feet. It's like they need to get out and like stretch their legs in a metropolitan area. But hopefully they're being safe about it. That's a big thing. I had like a complete breakdown in Safeway last week, dude. I went loony boons. Like, one of the employees had to like talk me down. It was really bad. So now I don't go to the store. I don't go to the store anymore. It was too much pressure and too much anxiety. Literally, the store was closing like in 20 minutes. I had a list of stuff I had to get, and I had no idea where any of it was. All the shelves were like way emptier than I was expecting, and so I was just losing my shit. And then my son's birthday was the next day, so I needed to make sure I got specific things that I couldn't find. And so I was just like freaking out. And I just lost my shit. And this lady like comes. She's like 10 feet away from me. She's like, "Hey, what can I do to help you?" And she went in the back and got me some stuff. But it was like,
that's cool.
Yeah, but it's like walking around the store. It's like nobody was acting like there was a pandemic. Like, I went in there like 20 minutes. Yeah, before I closed, and they're like walking right up behind me and like breathing over my shoulder and like, and I'm like, are you guys? And then you start feeling like, are they doing it on purpose, or is this just what normal used to be?
Yeah, right.
You don't know. It's like it's just such a weird experience. But then I went to another store, and it's like everybody in there was like wearing masks, and one dude's walking around with like a respirator on that looks like it's used for like painting houses. And I was like, okay, this is weird.
I've seen a couple guys like legit wearing painting respirators, and I'm like, I don't think that's gonna. Maybe it might help with it like spreading, but I don't think that's gonna help keep you from getting it,
Yeah. I think everything like, people ask me this all the time because I guess I haven't been too clear on it, but it's like things like scarves and stuff like that, they're not going to protect you. They'll give you everything will give you a little bit of protection. Even like literally putting a piece of paper in front of your face is going to give you some little bit of protection, but the thing is, you can't trust it. You can't trust any of it. You still have to practice social distancing and act like you're not wearing it in the first place, right? Otherwise people are going to get comfortable around you too. That's the other thing. If you're wearing a mask and somebody will go, "Oh, I'm going to sit next to the guy with the mask because he's smart and he's protecting himself," and if your mask's a piece of shit, then you're infecting them. It's like, and
there's a big difference between like the scarf thing or even masks, right? Like covering your face, like the classic like paper looking mask, that isn't sealing enough. So like, I've been seeing stuff of like, oh, people are buying up like the N95 like paper ones kind of thing with the square in the middle.
Yep.
That's going to keep, so that is, from what I've been reading, is going to keep you from getting it.
Correct. But you're still
because the thing doesn't, the thing doesn't seal real well around the edges, you're still like spraying it out. Then the other way, like a scarf or something, is going to keep you. It's going to help keep you from spreading, right? Because your slobber is going to get caught up in the thing, but probably isn't going to filter out stuff coming in.
Right. Yeah.
And so it's super important to look at and that's what most people, I think, have been trying to push, is like, if we can all just try really hard to not spread it. Yeah. Like. And maybe not worry so much about trying to, because if everybody's trying real hard not to spread, then it won't matter if you're trying to, like, you won't be catching because nobody's throwing it.
Exactly. And the thing is too, you also these are the two assumptions that I'm making that hopefully will keep me safe, because I'm kind of at high risk. One, I'm obese, which they say this fucking thing hates fat people. Like that's what this the CDC and the WHO are both saying. Okay, conclusive out of the people that have died, it's like fat people. I might as well be 80 years old based on my weight. So like, don't get it. I cannot risk it. And plus, I already have a little bit of diminished lung function. My oxygen is only at 96, 95, 96 normally. That's as high as it goes. So I'm like, I really don't want this shit, especially if I can't get put on a vent. Like, I don't think my little CPAP machine is going to keep me alive if I get it. So I'm like, you know what? So we're being overly cautious, like compared to everybody else. But here's the two assumptions I make. One, assume that everybody has the virus. Everybody. Yep. Just assume that you are literally walking around in Raccoon City and everybody's a zombie. Okay? And then number two, I'm a zombie. I'm also infectious. Even though I don't have any symptoms or anything like that, I treat it as if I do. So I maintain that barrier between everybody when I go out. And I'm only going out in public like maybe once a week to go get like supplies. So I go late. I go when nobody's there, or try to go when nobody's there. And I try to keep my distance from everybody, and then I treat my hands like lava. Like, don't touch your face. Don't touch I'm telling myself the whole time I'm in the store, don't touch your face. Don't touch your face. And I have to, because otherwise I will.
Hardest one.
Oh, my God,
that's
dude.
the hardest one.
So, and then I carry a little bottle of Purell with me. So, you know, every once in a while, I'll give it a squirt after handling some stuff off of the shelves and things like that. So it's like, a lot of people would probably consider that like an overreaction. But I haven't gotten sick yet. Nobody in my house has gotten sick yet. And tons of people in this area got sick. Like, I mean, we're not as bad as New York, but actually we've done really well. Washington actually has done really well. So shout out to Jay Inslee, the governor, for actually doing a decent job on something. But yeah, this is freaking crazy, dude. So the way I treat it is, it's like you wouldn't go treat it like radiation, right? Like if you went to Chernobyl, you wouldn't walk next to the reactor unless you had a Geiger counter, right? Well, we don't have a Geiger counter for this thing. So if you didn't have a way of telling what the radiation level is, you're going to just assume it's really high everywhere and not walk to the reactor. You know what I mean? And and the scarf, to me, if it gives you a false sense of confidence that you're protected, it'd be the same as you walking around with like a faulty Geiger counter that doesn't ever read above one Remkin or whatever. And you're just like, and you're just getting blasted with a lethal dose of radiation every like 3 seconds. You're like, man, this fucking looks cool, you know? So just, I mean, guys, just be safe. A lot of people have been messaging me going, oh my God, this is an overreaction, blah, 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 blah. It's like, no, man, look at New York. Look at China lying about all their numbers, right? They figured out China ordered 200,000 body bags. Did you hear about that?
No, that's crazy.
So China, like, literally on the market, because they didn't have enough. So they're like on the market, like shopping around for these body bags because they're having thousands and thousands of people still dying today. Like they acted like they got on top of it, but they're having a second bloom now. So yikes. South Korea's done a good job, though. I think South Korea we did similar to what South Korea did in Washington State. So like when our governor kicked in early and started doing, we couldn't do a ton of testing, but we were like, you know, basically doing like shelter in place before anybody else, social distancing for everybody else. We kind of set the tone for the rest of the nation, and it's been pretty good. Like we're actually near the top of the curve, which is something that, you know, other people are struggling with.
Yeah, I've been seeing that. I think just recently, I don't know, New York Times or something like that was saying that there's good evidence that Washington is beginning to flatten the curve. Like they didn't want to spend too much of a positivity into it, but it's like the data shows we've been doing a good job. Oh yeah,
it's definitely decelerating. Like we're on the deceleration.
They were very particular not to be like, look, this isn't saying we're out of the woods or anything, and this is very preliminary stuff, but like the few points that we've got suggest it was very like they didn't want to come to any hard conclusions or anything. It was very touchy, but it seems that we're doing pretty okay.
Yeah. Well, there's such a delay on this. It's like if you came out and were like, man, we're over the curve, everything's good, everybody would just bomb out of their house and like just go and stir crazy and go to the parks and go to dances and go to movie theaters, and like within like 2 weeks it'd be like, oh, that number's creeping up again because it's so delayed, right?
Yeah.
So I think that delay kind of screws us because you can very easally get into a false sense of security. But like what's going on in New York is freaky, dude. Like have you been following the New York story? Like what's going on with the hospitals and stuff?
Just a little bit, like what I barely catch on social media. I gotta say, so my day job is social media, right? It is tough to look for like trending topics to try and relate to and stuff. And dude, it's hard. It's very bleak out there. So like the little bit I've seen, I know it seems to be kind of a mess, but oh man.
Yeah. Well, I know the scariest thing that I saw was that they're now saying don't bring anybody who's having a cardiac arrest. Don't bring them to the hospitals.
Just saw that. Yeah.
And I was like, I thought it was a joke. I thought it was like an Onion article, like in Bad Taste or something. I clicked on it, and it's like, no, they're saying they don't have the resources at the hospitals, even right now, and it's still going up. They're still on their upstroke.
Yeah.
And they don't even have the hospital resources to resuscitate people. So they're like, the EMT will try to get to you and will try to resuscitate you, but if they can't resuscitate you, they're not gonna keep you alive and transport you to the hospital for like higher measures. And I'm like, wow, man, because there's a lot of cardiac arrest where they can just keep you going, right? And then they get you to the hospital, they can bust open your chest, put you on a heart and lung bypass machine. There's all kinds of stuff that they can do to save your life. But it's like, if they cannot get you going with CPR in the back of a truck, you're done. And I'm like, oh, man. Oh, that's freaky. So that stuff's been really, really scary. But the good news is it's only New York, and what's the other area? There's one other area.
Jersey, probably Jersey.
I think it's Jersey and New York. Yep. Everybody else, though, it looks like the rest of the states so far look like they're kind of following the same pattern as Washington. Although I know LA, there's a big concern for LA right now. So hopefully that doesn't go too bad. Hey, Dave, thank you for that $5 super chat. He said, watching Jerry and Mr. Beard while folding at home. Nice. Yeah, if you guys are folding, join the team. It's right down here. 231-300. Join that folding team and fold with us. I think Mr. Iron Prophylactic, or as we call him, Kevlar Condom, he is going to be doing another giveaway here in a couple of weeks. So, so if you're folding, I think he's giving away gift cards for Most Improved, like overall, and then one other category. So he's kind of mixing it up a little bit. So all you have to do is be folding to be entered. That's it. Let's see here. Colin said, Jerry, you're infectious. That's why we keep coming back. I'm the good kind of infectious. So the segue here with talking about this was the first topic. That's like, what do you think life's going to be after this thing goes away? Like, not. I don't know when it's going to go away, but let's say just based on what we see right now, with like, you know, some businesses hurting, some businesses thriving, supply and demand for things like toilet paper and stuff. Like, what do you think the end thing is going to look like when all of a sudden the sun comes out, the birds are chirping, we've got the vaccine, everybody's going door to door and giving it to everybody, and everybody's inoculated, we're free of it, and we can, and at least until they open the wet markets in China for like a week, then we get another one, right? But the birds are chirping, we feel safe, and we can venture outside again after being locked up indoors for like so long. What do you think the world looks like at that point? Like, what do you think things are? What's fundamentally different? Do you think?
I think we're going to see a spike in all the stuff that we've been missing. You're going to see a boom in like movie theaters. You're going to see a boom, a little bit of a boom in like restaurants, entertainment spaces and stuff. All of that shit, it's going to be packed. You're going to see bars. You're going to see restaurants, everything. People are going to flood the streets.
I tend to agree.
Maybe not in a literal way, but everything that they've been deprived of, that is going to skyrocket. You're going to see, and especially if this ends like late spring, early summer, you're going to see people outside in the parks. A lot more outdoor activities and stuff going to happen. As far as just like social stuff, I think long term, I think a lot of people are not going to return to the office. I think that you're going to see I think a lot of people are going to stay working from home.
I tend to agree.
I think also it's going to cause a shift in like going forward. People are going to be a lot more open to the idea of working from home. The tools and productivity and things, it's going to be an easier argument to say, hey, I don't need to come in the office. I don't need to be here all the time. You know?
Actually, that's a really good point, because you can tell your boss, listen, bro, I've been working from home for like the last 6 months. Like, and I've done my job, so why do I need to come in and take up office resources, dude? Like, come on.
I'll come in once a week for our department meeting or whatever. Or
side effects of that, less traffic, right?
Yeah.
So that goes down, less pollution. So there's all these ripple effects, right?
Yeah, I suppose in a small way.
Except for all the people like rushing to the bars and the restaurants, and like Disneyland's going to be like 5 times its original capacity with like 15 people hanging out of the rides each seat.
Right. I think people are going to take advantage of delivery services a lot more too. I think that side of like the gig economy is going to rise and stay at a elevated level, which is cool because like I've been doing Uber Eats, and I've been doing pretty well.
I've actually been pretty afraid to eat food from restaurants. Like the only exceptions I've made is like Papa Murphy's, because I throw it in my oven and just cook the ever living crap out of it. So it's like, even if there is pathogens on them, I'm like, burn, baby, burn, you know? But this is probably the longest period of time I've ever gone in my adult life without eating out. I mean, it's literally like
Same.
weeks. We've been cooking everything here. Like we've been barbecuing and making stuff. And my wife, she loves cooking. So this is her,
that's great.
her wheelhouse. Absolutely. And like groceries are being delivered. And it's like the drivers are actually being really careful now because, a bunch of drivers and stuff were getting infected. So now they just like run up on the porch, they dump your groceries and they like ring the doorbell and then they just haul ass back to their car. Like by the time you open the door, they're already like driving off down the block.
It's
crazy.
almost actually now. So this whole week it's been leave it at the door. Ding dong, and then I go back to my car.
Let me pose another alternative for you, though. So you think people are just going to run out and start doing stuff? What about the alternative of the fear? Like after being through something like this, just the shell shock of it. Do you think there's going to be a lot of people that are like, when the door opens and they can go outside, they're going to be like super cautious and they're not going to want to go to populated areas and they're going to like want to ease back into society?
I think there will be some of that, but not the majority.
Okay.
I think what might be the most scary though is the as I touch my nose, the economic impact. I think this is going to be a bit of one of those blips where people might go into a sort of not hoarding necessarily, but like an ultra cautious purchase mindset. You know what I mean? Like Great Depression style, where like you live on the cheap and you have like your little stockpile of just in case sort of stuff. Because I mean, this has happened. What's to say something weirder doesn't happen next year or in 10 years or whatever?
Yeah, you really don't know.
Honestly, look back in the last, from 2000 to now, the last 20 years, there was a good handful of big, scary diseases.
Yeah, MERS, SARS, H1N1. It's like, we've been hit before.
There was a big scare about Ebola for a minute there. Like, what the heck?
Yeah.
Like, next thing you know, it's going to be smallpox or something weird that like...
Yeah, imagine if there was a virus that had the transmission of this one, but the lethality of, say, like MERS or something where it's like 60% of the people that get it die. Like indiscriminate of age. Like doesn't matter if you're healthy or not. It's like it just depends on what how far the virus can permeate into your immune system. Once it gets past a certain point, it's just game over. And so that's kind of possible because the difference is like this, we're actually lucky. And I know I'm saying this like really, really like loosely. We're lucky that this virus is only like 20 times more lethal than the flu. Okay. We are lucky that it's only 20 times because there are some viruses that we contained that if they had gone out, it would have been a 60% mortality rate.
Yeah, or that the symptoms, even if it's not death, like that the symptoms aren't worse.
Yeah, like Ebola, right? You don't walk away from Ebola and just cure, right? That's flesh-eating disease. You walk away from that, it's like you got holes in you.
Imagine what it would have done to people if this was the kind of thing where if you got infected, no matter what, you showed symptoms. Like there's so many asymptomatic people, which is kind of on the one hand it's shitty because people are spreading it around, but on the other hand, like you're not getting knocked out. Right?
Yeah.
If you get the regular old flu every year, you're knocked out for a few days at the best. And like, what if even just that? People are not able to work. People are not able to leave their homes.
Right.
And people are saying, don't go to your friend's place because he's sick because you're going to get it and you're going to be knocked out for a week. And so
your symptoms cause the isolation.
It's like that's. I mean, we as bad as it is. This actually could have been. I hate to be like, it could have been worse.
I know it could have been worse, but in this case, it literally could have been a lot worse. Even if it had the lethality of the original SARS. Like this is a cousin of SARS. Like if it had the same lethality as the original SARS, like we'd see the death tolls in the tens of millions. But the original SARS showed symptoms almost immediately, just like the flu, right? It's weird that it's really weird that this virus takes up to 2 weeks to show symptoms. Although there's some people that are showing symptoms immediately. So it is really up to 2 weeks.
That's crazy.
Chemtrails. Dude, somebody asked.
Love this.
Yeah, somebody asked us to talk about this.
Please address the possibility of 5G being the cause. I find that hard to believe.
I can't. I won't even entertain it like with 1%.
A wireless transmission protocol or whatever wavelength doesn't cause
Yeah, what are they testing in the Petri dish? They're not taking the SIM card out of a phone and putting it in there and be like, oh, we've identified the virus.
So
like, no.
That came out. They came out funny. Okay, look, we've been literally bathed, like constantly. No matter where you are being bombarded by radio waves all the time.
Yeah.
For decades.
Yep. Terrestrial from satellites, like everything. Even the Earth itself is radiating radio signals. Like
now, there is something to be said about maybe all of this wireless interference might be actually causing some sort of uptick in cancer or weird like genetic problems, mutations in like cellular reproduction rates and things like that. Whatever. Yeah. But radio waves don't just cause viruses to appear. It could now there is a slight possibility to say that maybe wireless interference, wireless radiation has caused some sort of mutation. I'd be willing to entertain that, but to try and actually even figure that out, I think would be very difficult.
Wow. So, okay, here, I'm going to throw out my conspiracy theory. So I think what happened is a radio signal from a broadcast from a submarine, super ultra low frequency, permeated into the rainforest and scared a bat. And the bat literally shit on a pangolin. And then that pangolin got scared and ran off because it had shit in its eyes. And then the hunter shot it. And then he drug it into a wet market and sold it to somebody. And they ate it. And then they went out in public and just coughed on everybody. I think that's how this whole thing started.
Yeah, I don't know. It's weird because like I can entertain the idea that wireless radiation, because that's what it is, could have caused some sort of mutation, but I refuse to believe that it's suddenly somehow 5G is responsible for it just appearing out of nowhere.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I know radiation, all types of radiation, right, and all kinds of spectrums can cause cellular damage. And if you can damage a cell and not kill it, it's going to start like breeding and dividing and creating all kinds of broken cells. That's what cancer is,
that's
right?
How you get cancer. Yeah.
You have a derpy cell and it makes a couple more derpy cells, and then fast forward a couple of months and you got a big old cluster of derpy cells. So I will concede that, I mean, there is a possibility that you could irradiate somebody to the point where you damage their cells and then they unintentionally cultivate a virus resulting from it, like the way they handle something or a mutation of the flu or something, because their genome's been messed up. Let's just entertain the idea that it would be possible for them to cultivate some kind of a virus that otherwise wouldn't exist unless they were in that state. But did 5G cell phone towers, like a proven technology and a radio band that's well understood at a power level that's well understood, did that cause any of this? No. Is it causing cancer? Maybe if you climb up on the 5G tower and you press your face into the freaking like 5,000 watt antenna and sit there for 30 days, then maybe, just maybe, you're going to have to go get a little bit of chemo. But I don't think it's going to cause like a pandemic.
We're fine.
Yeah. I did see that though. People were like going all after this. 5G. I saw people just going after this 5G stuff, and I was just facepalming so hard. I've been seeing this on Twitter a lot lately, and I haven't even tried to even look up a source like where this started. But did somebody want to dab?
So there's just a cough into your elbow, and
my god, dude, I can't reach my elbow. I'm too fat. I'm too fat funny. To get to my elbow. See, that's probably why fat people die so much from this. So we can't cough into our elbows. It sucks.
There's actually an emote.
Hey James, thank you for the $2 super chat. He said Colorado is 7 to 10 days out of the peak of the curve. Well, that's good. Bernie from Austria, thank you for the 4, not pounds, that's the other one, was it?
Euros?
Euros, thank you. He said, be safe, guys. We reached the peak in Austria 2 days ago. Okay, cool, man. Or in 2 days. Maybe you meant in 2 days. And again, these
guys, it's Barnacules.
These are predicted peaks too. So like, remember, guys, these numbers are changing all the time. So a lot of the models that they've used have already been invalidated and updated to new stuff. So just because it looks like you're going to hit the top of the curve doesn't necessarily mean you are. There can still be another bloom. There can be more testing that reveals another community that got infected by it. That's happened. That's bit us in the butt a couple of times here in the United States because we don't have enough testing. So, but we're finally getting to the point where we're actually like testing some real numbers, and then you start seeing like what it really looks like. And you're like, oh my God, this is terrible. And all the celebrities, dude. Have you seen how many celebrities are testing positive now?
Right.
Dude, like Pink just reported, like Pink, that she's got it. What is it? Chris Como, the reporter, he got it.
Yeah, saw that.
So far, they seem like they're doing really good. And then Tom Hanks and his wife Rita Wilson, they got it, and they actually did okay. Like out of all the celebrities that got it that I know, I think most of them did pretty good. Like they didn't actually need like hospitalization with respirators and stuff like that. So I mean, that's positive. Like I want to see that. Like I want to see people that actually are coming out of this. Like I wish the media would spend more time like showing the people that are recovering from this, and that it's really no big deal, so that you can at least see that there's another side to it. Because when you watch the news all the time and all they're doing is like, oh, this person died and this person died, and it's like that bus driver. Did you see that? Did you see that ominous freaking video from the bus driver? And I think in Chicago.
No,
this dude,
what?
he does like his little video vlog on, I think it was either TikTok or Instagram, and he gets on there and he's like, yo, man, I'm a bus driver. He's like, this dude gets on my bus this morning. He's all coughing all over the place and hacking. And he's like, dude, you can't do that when there's a pandemic going on right now, bro. You can't be going around and like spreading that stuff. We got to be more careful. And he's like, all right, I got to get on the bus and I got to go pick up my. 2 weeks later, he died. He literally got infected by that guy that boarded his bus. So did a ton of other people on the bus, and he died 2 weeks later on a respirator in a hospital. Still couldn't save him. So it was like, and it was. I think he did have some underlying conditions, but it's like he looked pretty healthy. He looked pretty active and energetic. And I was like, whoa, that's surreal. So the dude literally made a video about his killer before he died. 2 weeks before he died. He's like, dude, you can't be coughing in public like that, man. Like, you know, you're going to get somebody infected. And then he literally tested positive and died 2 weeks later. I was like, wow, that is nuts, man. So I watched that, and that kind of hit me in the feels a little bit, because I'm like, that dude literally didn't even realize at the time he was shooting that video that he was talking about his murderer. Like, whether the guy intended it or not, it's like he wasn't being careful. He was sick. He's getting on public transit and coughing and not covering his cough and stuff. Like, the dude infected a busload of people. And then who knows how many people that busload of people infected, right? That driver was probably on a dozen more buses over the next couple days before he got symptoms, right? So he was probably, you know, passing that on to everybody else. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, dude, that is so freaking scary. But then you start to understand in your head, you're like, okay, this is why this is spreading so fast. It's like you can't, you know, you got to apply the 7 degrees of Kevin Bacon to this one. Hey, James, thank you for the $2 tip. He said, we need to thank the public transportation drivers. We do. And they need to have more personal protection than any of us.
Not just that, like public transportation, the folk running the registers at the grocery stores, all the essential services that you're taking advantage of during this thing. High five, not really, but like virtual high five. Like, dude, your garbage is probably still getting picked up.
It is.
Like,
it is.
You know, like all of that stuff. We need to be taking that kind of serious business too. Like, if you can, please do support your local restaurants and stuff, like the little mom and pop shops that like corner teriyaki joint, especially probably Chinese joints, are probably hurting really bad. Like,
are they still open?
Do try and support some
are. Okay.
I mean, that's why I'm making money on Uber Eats, man. Some
because they can do takeout. That's right. I forgot about that.
Are doing pickups and deliveries and stuff. And please do try to like help them out in any way you can.
Dude, my local Safeway actually put up guards between the cashier now. So there's a giant like freaking plexiglass wall. And I was like, I told him when I walked in there, I was like, dude, this is awesome. Like, I asked her, I said, does this make you feel like more secure? And she's like, oh my gosh, yes. Like, even if it doesn't do nothing, it's just like a morale booster. She's like, oh my gosh. Because she's like, people walk up here and look like they're just dying. Like, she's like, they're coming to the store and there's like nothing we can do because they need to eat, right? These are people, like, not everybody has somebody they can send out. Not everybody has it. So, you know, some of these people have to risk it. Like, I saw this sweet little old lady who had her walker with her little, you know, her little tennis balls on her walker, and she was just like cruising at like, you know, half a mile an hour through Safeway with her, you know, her oxygen mask plumbed in under her N95 mask, and you know, everybody was doing their best to stay away from her, you know, because like if you breathe on this lady, she's gonna fall over. But it's like she's still got to eat, you know, she's still got to eat, she's got to do her thing. So we have to definitely be conscious of that type of thing. As far as what's gonna happen after this all goes away, my prediction is a little bit different than yours, in that I think that, not the majority, but I think a lot of people are going to have a hard time reintegrating. But I also think that we haven't really called it yet as far as being in a recession, but I think it's pretty safe to say at this point. I mean, we are in a recession. It's not as bad as the Great Depression, but it is a recession. Like we're heading into that territory.
Yeah, that's true. I think we will be close to 2008 sort of thing.
So I think a lot of businesses are gonna really, even with the support of the government and stuff like that, I think a lot of the small businesses are gonna have a hard time coming back once they're gone. And
I think so too.
So I think what's going to happen is we're going to venture out into a world that doesn't have as many small businesses, doesn't have as many local things that you can go and do. And a lot of our lives are going to shift into online because Amazon's not going anywhere. Walmart's not going anywhere. Costco's not going anywhere. All these big juggernauts, you know, they have the resources, they, even if they have to furlough a ton of their employees and everything like that, they will weather this. Like, there's no way they're not gonna. The airline industry, like, they could lose every dollar they have and set every one of their planes on fire, and the government's gonna bail them out because you have to have transportation.
Yeah.
You know, which sucks, but they'll do it. Same thing with auto manufacturers like Ford. It's like that's considered like a national pride now. So it's like if they lose all the money and never sell another car, Ford will still open right back up and keep operating just like it did. But the small businesses, that's going to be where it really hurts. And then I also think there's going to be a manufacturing shortage, even from places like China and stuff like that. We're going to see a huge backlog and shortage from this over time, and it's going to raise the price of goods. And so our money's not going to stretch as far. And I think this is going to be a pretty rough go in the end, but it all depends on how fast it comes back, right? I think that's the big thing. It's like, you know, it may, if we have a conclusion to this where it's like everybody gets vaccinated, there's minimal chance of you getting it again. Even if you do get it again, the chance of spreading it to somebody else because of herd immunity is very, very low. If we can get to that point, you know, just like we have with like influenza A and influenza B and all that stuff, I think that people would get the confidence to like start reinvesting the money and coming back and building the infrastructure and building the businesses. And I think travel and stuff like that will pop right back up and be fine. But do I think people are going to jump on a cruise ship after this?
Probably not.
Like I don't know what the cruise industry is going to do, because I can't think of, after going through this experience, I don't know if I would ever get on a cruise ship again. Like, just knowing what I know now, like knowing that it can actually be this bad and how easily, like even a virus, like now I even look at flu differently. Like even just getting the flu, like I used to look at the flu like, it's no big deal. You get it, you cough, get a sore throat, maybe you can't breathe a little bit, go to the doctor, get some prednisone and you're good. But now I look at stuff like that and I'm like, man, all it takes is you getting sick once where that thing gets a grip shit of a hold on your immune system. And
yeah, I don't know. I hope it doesn't go down the fear route like that.
I hope not either.
Yeah.
Hey, Anthony, thank you for that $2 super chat. He said, how's the podcast link going?
Oh, I've been pasting it in the chat there.
Let's see what we got. Let's pull up the latest stats. I haven't looked at them in a little while, so let's pull up Anchor.
I'm stoked for NASCAR and esports. I mean, it's sad. I'm seeing a topic here about racing sim gear shortage, but if you guys are at all interested in seeing what's probably to be a seminal moment in the rise of esports popularity, there is a NASCAR iRacing race tomorrow.
Hosted
I'm
on
not sure
Fox.
at what time, but dude, this is going to be the start of the mainstreamification, I think, of esports of all types. This will be where the general public gets a good taste of it, like they kind of did when, you know, Drake streamed with Ninja, and like it became a sort of top of mind sort of thing. But this is I think this is the beginning of where it becomes normal.
No, this is big.
It's like Fortnite gets sneered at no matter whether you play it or not. You're like, oh, it's a game for kids, meh. But this is like an adult thing, right? NASCAR is a big boy stuff.
Yeah.
And if this can make it like normalized, we're gonna be seeing NFL or what, I don't know what the fucking, what is it, Madden tournaments and stuff. You know, they're going to be like, I bet you they'll put like the best esport Madden players and say like, oh, okay, let's try out the Super Bowl. You know, that'll be like Super Bowl predictions. We got the two best Madden players in the world, and we're going to put them on the teams of, you know, Cowboys versus the Ravens or whatever. We think this is going to be the Super Bowl. How is it going to play out? You know, that kind of stuff.
Yep.
And they'll be, I don't know. I just think it's going to be another big step in making it normal. It's going to be awesome.
Dude, what I think's actually going to happen is it's like you said, it's going to bring the adults in, right? It's like where kids are watching the live stream and the adults are like, oh, that live stream is stupid. Why would you watch somebody else play a video game? It's like, hey, Gramps and Dad, you've been watching other people do shit for a long time on TV. Like, you know, I don't see you out there playing football and driving NASCARs, but you enjoy it. So I think this is going to bridge two or three generations of people all under one hood. But here's where I think it's going to get really interesting is on the racing side, like you said, where you're going to now have the legendary NASCAR drivers, and you're going to have like kids coming in from like iRacing that are at the top of the iRacing boards, like literally stomping these professional drivers and forcing them to up their game in the virtual world, right? And so you're going to see this mix in a leaderboard of like, you know, some 16-year-old freaking racing prodigy on iRacing and he's going to be there on his little Thrustmaster T300 RS or his little Logitech racing wheel, just kicking the shit out of these guys with like $20,000 racing simulators, because they exist, right? There's always these prodigies in gaming. And so it's really going to be like this huge upset. Plus, the thing is if NASCAR and Fox can make as much money doing this as they do racing actual stock cars, do you really think they're going to invest billions and billions of dollars in an industry just to lose it? Like they're gonna hedge. I mean, they'll still do real racing. I think there'll always be a place for real racing.
Of course.
I think that there's a good chance that they're gonna try to transition as much of it as possible into the digital realm over time, because it's a lot cheaper in the end run. They can get any camera angle they want, right? If they want a camera going in from like the angle up into the cockpit, they might even start like virtualizing the drivers themselves, like doing 3D scans of their head and stuff, and putting them on their body inside of the car. With like no racing helmet on, so you can like look in the window and see who's driving each car and everything. There's a lot of latitude for what they could do with this. And I'm pretty excited for it. And then I think what's going to happen is, because NASCAR has been so successful, and they already have. After one stream, they've already broke records, right? I think you're going to see Formula One doing it. I think you're going to see kart series doing it. I think you're going to see touring car championships doing it. You may even start seeing rally races, right? You might start seeing like the Colin McRae's and stuff, and the Richard Burnses. Well, Colin can't. Unfortunately he passed away. But like, that was sad. So, but you're going to see all these people coming out of retirement now. Because think about it. If you're like Mario Andretti, right, and you're like, I can't race, I can't race Formula One cars anymore because I'm so decrepit. He can still get on a racing simulator, and he still has the mind for it, right? So it's like you plug in Gramps on that racing simulator and turn force feedback down to 0, and that some bitch is going to go around and just stomp the shit out of everybody. And I think that'll be really fun to watch. Be like, oh, how do you feel? What is it, Dale Earnhardt Jr.? How do you like the fact that you just got just fucking decimated by a 13-year-old kid on a Logitech G25 from 15 years ago? With no clutch pedal. It's gonna happen. It's absolutely gonna happen.
Yeah, I think it's a matter of time. I know that maybe. So there's some comments in the chat about, in particular, I'm gonna call you out, Stumpy Nubs. How many people watch the regular races, and compared to the million people, the just shy of a million who watched the first one, Fox agreed to stream this entire iRacing series, so they clearly see a benefit. They
built an entire studio. They built a whole studio.
They wouldn't be spending the money if they didn't think that there was going to be a return.
Absolutely.
And I know we're in a unique position right now. People are somewhat, you have a captive audience, quite literally. And so that's going to kind of artificially inflate some of this stuff. I do think, though, that this is the time where you are going to be introducing a new genre of content to a new audience. Is every NASCAR fan who watches? I mean, there's something to be said about an audience who is there to see the crashes, to be a part of, to who go there and to be a part. Like, I hate watching baseball on TV, but I'll go to a baseball.
I'm the same way. I totally understand that.
And I feel like there's going to be a piece of the audience that are similar. Like, I'm not going to watch a bunch of nerds drive around in a circle for nothing. I want to be there. I want to hear the engines. I want to feel the roar and like be a part of this crowd and stuff like that. Yes, totally. And maybe that's a huge portion of NASCAR fans. I don't know.
Dude, what about virtual reality? What if virtual reality, like you actually buy a ticket for a seat and you actually put on your helmet and you're like literally sitting in the seat, just like you were there, and you can look anywhere you want. The cars are like racing by, and you got that full surround sound. Maybe got a vest on where you shakes and you feel that haptic feedback when they're racing by. Ready Player One's happening, goddammit.
I don't think it will replace the real NASCAR. It won't be as popular. It won't, just like I don't. It's going to be it's going to be a good number of years, 10 years or more, before esports as a whole even comes close to football.
Sure.
In America, but it's going to be top 5 watched thing on TV very soon.
And plus, you still have that interaction too with like the drivers. They're able to talk. You know, you can get their views on it and everything. So you still have that like interaction. It's not like you're just joining. It'd suck if you just join the race and you're just watching people whip around a track. I know there's people that do that, but it's like you don't really like get involved with like the emotion of the drivers. It's like this. They're gonna learn over time how to like capture like, you know, if a driver gets knocked off the track, he's gonna rage quit and get out of a simulator and throw his fucking thing at the screen and break the screen. And you're gonna see stuff like that happen because these guys are hugely competitive. Who knows? Maybe even at some point they start adding consequences to it. Like they have the simulator with like freaking straps on them hooked to like a giant motor, and if they hit the wall or crash another car, it like bangs them back in their seat or something, you know, really hard. So you see it, not anything that would like injure them severely, but you know, so that you see that on the screen and you're like, oh, there actually is a consequence to it.
Like those hydraulic rigs, you know. I keep poking at Stumpy Nubs because he's got, I don't know, his name like highlights and I see it. But so he says virtual racing will always have a following, but NASCAR and others won't stick with it once they can do the real thing again. I think that there will be an official esports division of NASCAR.
Yeah, if it's profitable, they won't shut it down. There's no way, even if it's not as profitable.
I think it'll be a sort of like AAA baseball, minor league baseball. It'll be there. It's something you could go seek and watch if you wanted to. Again, it probably won't be as big, obviously, but I bet after this, especially with I mean, NASCAR's behind this iRacing series thing right now. Fox picked it up, is gonna broadcast the whole thing. You
know what we're gonna see too is we're gonna see a huge boost in iRacing because. Think about it. You have Fox and NASCAR, right? These are huge profitable entities, right? They have unlimited amounts of money. So do you really think like the number one complaint I saw from the broadcast is, oh, the graphics don't actually look that good. Like, dude, iRacing is going to like double down and like drop a graphics pack like for this and probably vet it there and then send it out to their entire user base. I guarantee you if they keep doing this, like half the season's over, the graphics are going to like triple, quadruple because they're going to be like, oh, we've actually got video going out on TV now. So now there's a reason to make the graphics fantastic. There was never really a reason before because it was about the racing. It was about the simulation and the physics. It wasn't about the graphics. Now it's definitely, if it's a spectator sport, the graphics are definitely going to take center stage. And you're going to see a huge improvement.
I think especially if they do more of an off-season sort of thing, because like I could see why not start broadcasting practice essentially. Like you have this sort of off-season league or this off-season esports season that doesn't compete with the normal day-to-day, you know, the normal season, I guess, or league or whatever. Maybe there's like a slight overlap or in between. Like you'll do one race, you know, live. You'll do another 2 races virtually, right? There's like a bit of an overlap, but I can see it as a supplement to the regular live sport. Yeah. And and again, this is the beginning of seeing it more. Hey man, I kind of like watching iRacing stuff, man. What other kind of things are there out there, you know? And then oh shit, man, League of Legends, that's just kind of cool, man. I'll go check that out.
It's going to be a massive bridge.
I think it's like I said, it's going to expose a new form of content to an audience that might not otherwise have sought it out, who might even had maybe an aggressive resistance to it. I'm not watching no video games. Well, you know, you just didn't find you didn't have a content that you enjoyed to watch, and now you do. And yeah, I think it'll be fun.
It's gonna be big. Hey, Big 12 boy, thank you for the €5, my man. He said Austrian governor did an amazing job closing anything that isn't needed. And hold on, I got cut off there. Hold on.
Oh, that's a weird one. He was like voted emergency indefinite powers. It seems like I think it was Austria or Hungary.
Oh crap.
Yeah.
So you get a free mask and market and you have to use it? Oh man, how many? Yeah, so what does the world look like after this in forms of other countries and dictatorships and stuff rising up and grabbing power?
Who was that?
That was that Big 12 boy, or did somebody else say that?
It was Hungary.
Oh man, that's my people, dude. I got a large amount of Hungarian in me.
That was interesting.
Oh, that's freaky. So anyways, I think that the NASCAR thing is going to be huge. I think mainly, but like you said, captive audience. It's obviously going to be a lot more interest now than when people can go outside and actually go to the events or watch it, right? So I still think that but the big thing here is we finally have a solid bridge between three generations. We have the people that watch the real stuff that'll tolerate the virtual stuff, and we have the kids that watch the virtual stuff that now are going to get interested in the real stuff, and now they're going to be opened up to their respective worlds. And I think you're going to have a lot of, imagine the kids now that are like the dads that just don't understand their kids, and now their kids are like, Dad, I want to get a racing wheel. This like NASCAR stuff is like really cool in iRacing, or their kid already did racing and they're like, I don't care about that. Like I do real racing. I go to the drag strip, boy. You know, it's like I think there's going to be an opportunity here for like a lot of bonding, and people like getting together and being like, you know what, this is not just a game. This is not just a toy. And another reason, like the thing we can segue into is like you cannot find gear right now. Racing sim wheels like the crazy Logitech G29 Thrustmaster T300 RS. It's like in the couple of units you can find, the prices are going up on them like tremendously. It's like NASCAR not intentionally, but NASCAR like caught fire so quick in the virtual realm that you have tons of people that never even thought about getting into sim racing. Now all of a sudden they're like, sim racing's cool. I'm going to get a wheel. I'm going to get some pedals. I'm going to do me some iRacing, you know? And I think iRacing is just going to get a influx of people. That's going to be more money. That's going to be more money into the simulator. And then what happens is when the demand goes up for it, then you're going to have companies like Thrustmaster and Logitech, and even companies that never did it before, making cheaper, more accessible gear and be able to put more R&D and more money into it. Because that's why it's so expensive. Like the reason you're paying, $350 for like a steering wheel and pedals and a shifter is not because it costs $350. It doesn't cost that much to make that thing. It's because they don't sell that many of them because it's considered a niche market, right? Even most people that play racing games just use like their joystick. But when like a steering wheel becomes like that much more, people are gonna start making more of them, and they're gonna make cheaper ones, and they're gonna have more options from basic to complicated, so that you can keep upgrading. I think it's really gonna be a huge boon for the sport that wouldn't have happened if we didn't all get like stuck in our houses and glued to our TVs. Chris said Jay's setup for racing. Jay and I actually have a very similar racing setup. Not my new setup. My new setup kicks the shit out of his if I just build the damn thing. But until I build it, I can't say that. But right now, the setup that I'm thinking about bringing online intermediately, because I do want to get back into iRacing like sooner rather than later. So my main simulator is an Oboto Revolution. It's got a Fanatec Club Sport 2.5 base. It's got their fancy BMW I have a BMW and an F1 wheel with all the wireless hub stuff. I got a 7-speed gated shifter. I got SimLabs pedals with Willwood brake master cylinder and slave cylinder, so it feels like a real pedal box from a car. And that's my poor people sim, dude. That's my poor people sim. The new sim is going to be SimLabs PX1, which is a 60/40 aluminum extrusion cockpit that's so rigid you can put it up on 4 points and like jostle it around, and it has like no flex to it at all, even with me on it. And it's going to have a SimLabs. So the base, just the base of my wheel, I've showed you guys on my morning coffee live stream. I got a SimuCube 2 Ultimate. There's like no better wheelbase in the world, in my opinion. It is literally the apex, but it also costs with a wheel, it's about $3,000. So just my base and my steering wheel cost more than my entire other simulator and every part on it. Just the steering wheel and just the base. So, luckily I didn't have to pay for any of that though. So the company was like, "Do you want to review our wheel?" I was like, "Can you send me like the best one you got?" They're like, "Sure." So yeah, no, I'm gonna build that, and I've been 3D printing all the parts to do full motion on it. So I'm gonna do an open source full motion platform that moves the simulator. It can go side to side and front to back and at an angle. So it's gonna be awesome, man. It's gonna be awesome.
I'm stoked to see it.
Are you talking to people in chat?
Oh, some people seem to be yelling.
So Blake said,
explaining.
"Oh, go ahead."
Oh, I was just explaining that caps are yelling in text chat.
Oh,
it's a pretty entry level text chat etiquette.
That's right.
Rule.
Be kind to people.
Just in case you didn't know.
Yep.
It happens.
So Blink said, "How does the SimuCube compare to the Bodner wheel?" Well, the Bodner wheel is more expensive, I think, for the high end one. But I personally think the SimCube is way more advanced. Like the Bodner wheel has been around forever. But it's freaking crazy though. It can produce 27 Newton meters of torque. So my wheelbase is because it's basically a motor off of an industrial arm that builds like cars.
Oh no shit!
And so 27 Newton meters of force, and that's restrained. So that's what I can turn it up to. Like if I can hack the software, you can make it do way more than that. But they do that on purpose because they don't want it to like break your arms out of their sockets.
Yeah.
But it does have enough force to break your wrists. Like it has an emergency stop button that you're supposed to put near your feet. So you can basically kick it to turn the wheel off, because if you do get like your hands tangled up in the wheel, it will break your wrists. It'll break fingers. Because some people want to simulate that level of realism. Like if you're racing an F1 car with, huge, thick, wide tires, and a 3,000 pounds downforce or whatever, you want to feel that, in the car, and you want to work for it. But me, I'm never going to turn it up that high unless it's just as a gag or a joke. But I've seen there's a guy that I watch on YouTube. Damn it, why can't I remember his name right now? I watch him all the time and I can't remember his name always when I'm thinking about it. But anyways, he does these laps of the Nürburgring where he turns the force on his wheel. His wheel only goes up to, I think, 13 Newton meters or something. But he turns it up to 100%. And he tries to do a lap around the Nürburgring. And it's funny because he's all like, around the corner.
Like no power steering style.
Yeah, Jimmy Broadbent. That's who it is. Jimmy Broadbent. He's actually one of my favorite sim racers. And he's actually been in a couple of broadcasted F1 races. Because F1 already has a racing series. It's not broadcast on TV. It's live streamed. But he's already been in races with like Lewis Hamilton and those level of drivers in the sim racing world in iRacing. And you watch his streams and he's like, man, I don't know how the hell I got here. And he actually does pretty well. Like he places like in the top 6 or 8 people, like amongst like a grid of 24 professional drivers that do it for a living. So I was like, dude, that's proof, man. That is proof that the digital realm is catching up, my friend.
It is though. It really is. Ron Burgundy, Leo. I don't know how to spell it.
Is somebody making Anchorman references?
I did. There was a question like, do you think the CIA is monitoring us through our Windows machines? I was like, no, it's probably NSA and FBI. CIA is more external. NSA looks inside.
I think it's just some poor person at Microsoft that gets paid all day just to sit there and see if anything interesting happens.
The YouTube reviewers who have PTSD.
Vincent's like, oh my God, Barn Nerd is live again. Nice to see you, Jerry. Hey, what's up, man? Vincent, this is only show number 9. We do this every week.
That's right.
There's still a lot of people that haven't discovered it yet, so it's good to have you, my man.
Tell your mom.
George DeLuca.
Tell your friends.
Yeah, tell your mom, tell your friends, tell your dogs, cousins, brothers, plumber. Let's see here. So George said, Barnacules and AuxxZillary said, did you see that a YouTuber Craft Computing? Wait. Did you see that YouTuber Craft Computing, I've never heard of him, sued Bite My Bits, another YouTuber, because he wore his shirt on one of his videos? No way! Are you shitting me? I don't believe it, because I know Bite My Bits. He's a personal friend of mine, so I haven't even heard of this. Let's see here.
That's a waste of time. You can. Heineken's gonna sue me for wearing their shirt, right?
Oh no, man, you're doomed.
That's silly.
Yeah, I haven't even heard of this.
Waste of time.
Like, did Bite My Bits do like a video on it or something? Like, I'm not finding anything. I'm doing a search for it. So, I am curious about this because I know Bite My Bits. Like, I know him personally. He actually did a video where he deep faked my face onto his body and did like a bunch of YouTubers.
April Fools.
Yep. Oh, you son of a bitch! It's not April Fools, dude. It's 4/4.
I think it was.
You can't recycle that though. You can't recycle that. Yeah. It's not an April Fools anymore.
Shame.
That actually would be funny though. I see the reason why it's believable though. You know why it's believable?
Bad.
You know why it's believable?
Because fucking YouTube.
Because of YouTube. Exactly. Thank you.
Because fucking YouTube, man. I wouldn't be surprised. My God. There is
so much fucking stupid stuff happening these days in YouTube and live streaming, and you have all these companies coming in too doing all this DMCA shit where they're like owning your content. Yeah. And like I get one email a day. Luckily it's all for old videos that make like maybe 20 cents a month. But I'll get these emails like every day. I get at least one that's like, oh, a company has claimed the music from index blah 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 in your video, or a company claimed the sound effect used at this time index or whatever, so all revenue from this video will go to them. And I'm like, are you kidding me? And it's like these same 3 or 4 companies that keep doing it. It's really annoying. It's really getting freaking annoying at this point. Luckily, it hasn't been any big videos though. It looks like they're in these companies because I don't think they really own the rights. I think they're hoping you won't contest them. Yeah. Because I think it's just people that are lying and trying to build a revenue portfolio. So they're intentionally picking videos that are relatively low earners and old as hell.
Is that like the investment strategy now? Is to scoop up the monetization on cheap videos?
I think that's what they're doing, man. I think there's a huge business in it. Whereas if you're a company and you can literally just troll YouTube for like videos that are 6 or 7 years old that have been forgotten, and you just claim all those videos, and then the claims go uncontested, you could eventually have 50,000 videos in your portfolio. And if each one of those only makes 50 cents a month, that's still $25,000 a month. and revenue from videos
man,
and nobody knows it's happening because they're just like, oh, I don't want to contest it because YouTube has weird rules, man. Like if you contest something, if you contest a copyright strike and you lose, your channel's gone. Like that, like you lose it. It's there. You cannot contest it unless you have the absolute like legal proof.
Jeez.
And so I've had to contest a couple, and it's a white knuckle experience when you have to contest it because you have to win it. Because if you don't win it, then you found that you perjured yourself basically, and YouTube can actually take legal action.
Chris Stalcup says, been wanting to do a YouTube channel but haven't due to the horror stories like that. So there are very, very easy ways to avoid such things. Gobs and gobs of free music channels, like one in particular that I'm very fond of. It's called Stream Beats. It's by a gentleman named Harris Heller. Actually, he hired or he worked with a producer or something to make a humongous playlist that he's been adding to over and over and over. Has been adding to Stream Beats on Spotify. Real cool, chill. It's kind of like lo-fi beats right now, but he's adding more high tempo stuff as time goes on. That's totally free. You can use it however you like. I don't even think he asks for attribution.
Does he make the music or?
I think so. He said I remember in a video that he had done that he worked with another person, a producer. I don't know if that guy is solely making it or if they're collaborating in some way.
There is a cautionary tale here though, because I had this happen to me. So I used to pay for a service to get music for my old videos like 4 or 5 years ago. I had a music service, and I can't remember what the name of it was, but I paid a monthly fee to use their music. Yeah. And any music that you put into your video within the time that you were a customer, you could use in perpetuity forever. So basically, I canceled my service with them, and then like a year later, it was like a full year later, another company bought them. And when they bought them, they went through and flagged every single person that wasn't currently a customer because they changed their terms of service, which I don't even know how that's legal. And they claimed like 10 or 15 of my videos at the time. I was so pissed because a lot of them were high earners too. They claimed them because I used that music in the video, and it's like, oh, you are no longer a customer of blah blah blah, DMC, blah blah blah. And I was like, fuck. And so I contested one of them, and luckily I got to keep my channel because I lost it. And they're basically like, oh, this company bought them, so they have all the rights to the music, so they can request more royalties or change the contract. So just be aware that if you're going to use music in your video, you need to make sure that there is no way that music can be purchased by a third party and have the licensing rights changed on it. Because even if you're in the right, like technically I was still in the right. I could have gone to court if I had the money and everything and fought it and said, listen, I have the contract that I had during that period, so I have the right to use this music under the old contract. You can't retroactively change that. But the thing is, it would have cost me a ton of money and legal representation and everything to go after him for a video that might make like $100. So it's like, but I would have spent like $10,000 like trying to fight the lawsuit. So I was like, yeah, no. So I just let it go. And it sucks because, we do live in a country where whoever has the most resources and the most suing power, they win no matter what. Even if they lose, they still win because they just deplete all your resources. So you have to let a lot of stuff go, which sucks. So if you're going to use music in your video, I recommend that you only use music that's in the YouTube library, because the YouTube library that they give you of free music, like when you join YouTube, there's actually a music library and a sound library that's free to use. By the people putting music in there, they agree to a contract directly with Google saying that music will be free in perpetuity forever. So, and only for YouTube videos. If you use it on Twitch and stuff like that, they can still DMCA you. But if you use it on YouTube, you're in the clear. And since it's a part of YouTube's database, it doesn't matter if somebody else buys the rights to that song. YouTube's legal department will fight on your behalf, and they won't even allow somebody to copyright you if you have music that was in their library at any point in time. Like, they won't even let the person do it. Like, if the person goes in and goes, oh, they were using my soundtrack from this, it's like, no, they'll check their own soundtrack library and be like, nope, this music was in our library, which means it's free forever. So yeah, that's the only stuff I trust, because I've had that happen too many times where I like paid for a service and then they just like kind of reneged on it, and I was like, no, that sucks. You can't do that. Epic Gamer, thank you for the $2 super chat. He said, best budget ergo mechanical keyboard. What do you mean by ergo? Are you talking like a split mechanical keyboard or just a comfortable mechanical keyboard? What constitutes an ergo mechanical keyboard? I'm kind of curious.
Like the split style, like the Microsoft Ergo 2000.
Well, the only split mechanical keyboard that I really know of is the Kinesis Gaming Freestyle Edge. This is like the only one I really know of that has the mechanical switches and is completely ergonomic. It's not cheap though. It's definitely not cheap, and he's looking for a budget ergo mechanical keyboard. I know that you can build an ergo docks for, I think it's like 120 or 150, so it's still technically cheaper. But I don't like the ErgoDox layout at all. Like the ErgoDox keyboard tries to do all this weird shit where your thumb can operate like 45 keys. Like, no, I just want a space bar for my thumb. So I really don't recommend that. GTPC Gaming said, Barnacules' YouTube library can't be 100% trusted. Sony owned a single sample sound used in one song. It was removed from the library and lots of people got screwed. Well, fuck, there you have it. so there's no safe... Literally just hum your shit. Just hum your shit.
No music in YouTube videos.
Every video in my future, I'm just going to be in the background going... Yes. Here, you give me the unts. I like it. Don't even think about using that music track either. We will DMC your shit and take all your money.
Yeah, no, please do so that we can get monetization money. S2000 or Miata? Miata. Cheaper.
Oh, S2000 all the way, dude. All the way.
The S2000 looks cooler. I wouldn't want to own one.
Looks cooler, faster, and indestructible motor. Although you could argue the Miata has an indestructible motor too.
Yeah.
Dude, that S2000 motor, even though it's bespoke, those things are just, I mean, they are bulletproof.
Nah.
Like people take those and like swap them into all kinds of stuff because they're expensive, but they revved to like 9,000 plus RPM.
Yeah,
and they make they made quite a bit of power torque when they first came out. Now they're actually kind of weenie, but everybody puts turbos on them and stuff, and the engine takes it well. I think it's funny. All the cars I used to think are fast are slow now. Like even my Subaru, I'm like, man, my Subaru's got 336 horsepower after like dyno tuning and mods and all this stuff and like professional tuning. And it's like, oh man, I got a Hyundai Elantra that's got more power than that. It's like, oh, son of a bitch. Right. Yeah, everything's faster today. And it was weird because it went a long time. It was like in the 60s and stuff, they had muscle cars that, you could buy like a Ford Mustang or something, have like 250 horsepower, right? That wasn't unreasonable, or a hot one that had like 300. And then you fast forward, and now you got compact cars that have that same power with turbos and stuff. And now you fast forward just a little bit further, and it's like cars have like 4 times as much power. And like every hypercar and supercar, like you can buy a car under $100,000 that has like 800 horsepower. Like, it's crazy. It's just crazy. So like, what's going to happen? And now with the electric cars, it's driving all the gas cars to be even more powerful. So like, now you're seeing like, what would be a good example? Like the Koenigsegg cars, right? Where it's like they're putting out like 1,500, 1,800 horsepower on E85. And you're like, holy crap, dude. Like, are we going to see that in the next? And then with like the free valve technology and the internal combustion engine technology, like trying to hold on, right? They need to hold on. The power's gone up like tremendously. They got a 3 liter. Is it a no, it's not a 3 liter. Sorry, a 1.3 liter motor that makes 300 horsepower without a turbo. Koenigsegg on pump gas, not even race gas. It can make 300 horsepower on a 1.3 liter 3-cylinder motor Koenigsegg made using their free valve technology or whatever. I'm like, well, when that goes mainstream, dude, like you're gonna literally have like smart car with 650 horsepower, and that's before they put the turbos on it. Hey, Acid Burn, thank you for the $5 tip. He said Corona Beer Company should take revenge and produce a... I wish this wouldn't cut this off when I do this. Produce a limited edition when this is all over. I think Corona... Did I hear something? Like something happened to Corona recently.
That's dangerous. I think they'd get some really bad PR for doing something like that.
Because I know that there's like 30% of people
deaf and,
like, I think 30% of people said that when they did some talk on the streets to randos. There's like 30% of the people thought that this was in some way connected to Corona, and even if it wasn't, they just wanted to err on the safe side and not drink Corona. So I was like, oh yeah, here it is. It is true. I thought this might have been an Onion article. No, this is from CBS News. Corona beer halts production during coronavirus pandemic. So it's gotten to the point where they're not selling Corona, so they had to just literally halt production. So let's see. A brand that has been in the public eye amid the coronavirus pandemic, due to its name, announced this week that it's temporarily halting operations. The production of Corona beer is now suspended as it is considered a non-essential business. Okay, so I guess they're closed down just because they're a non-essential business. That's a little different.
Okay.
Let's see here. Grupo Modelo, the company that produces Corona beer, I didn't know Modelo produced Corona, announced on Twitter Thursday that it'll stop brewing its beverage starting Sunday after the Mexican government declared breweries non-essential businesses. The brewer owned by the Anheuser-Busch InBev company said it is already in the process of decreasing production. Oh no, man, what are we gonna do? Like the Mexicans are gonna be no beer in Mexico, dude. They're gonna have a revolt.
Oh no,
that shit's game over, dude. You can't take beer away from the Mexican people. You cannot do that. That is not allowed. Hey T, thank you for the 20 NZs. We got 20 NZs. Are those Modelo? What are the NZs? Do you remember the currency NZ?
New Zealand.
Oh, we got some New Zealand dollars. Thank you for the 20 New Zealands. He said, hope you and the family are doing all right, and you use this time. And okay, I'm just gonna leave this window freaking full screen. This is crazy.
Use this time to learn Linux. I am not using this time to learn Linux. Yeah. I'm using this time to learn more about digital marketing and social media and content marketing.
Yeah, why would you want to learn a poor people operating system like Linux? Come on, guys.
I mean, when you run out of Netflix stuff to watch, what else are you supposed to do?
I've thought about actually putting a VM up and deploying just massive old operating systems. Like I'm talking like DOS 5 and Linux and Solaris and some of the really odd operating systems. I thought it'd be kind of cool to just set them up as VMs and just have them all running on one computer at one time and just fart around with them and see what kind of crazy software is available.
That's cool.
Alex said, let's see, AuxxZillary, 90% of the 40% said they never drank it anyways, and that's why they won't drink it in the future. Oh, fair point.
Well, whatever.
That's a fair point. Travis D said beer in Mexico is going to be like teepee here in the States. Dude, how is there still a teepee shortage? I don't understand that. That one I can't really figure out, because the hoarding thing made sense in the beginning. But you'd think that eventually everybody would be so hoarded out that they would just, that supply would just overwhelm everything. Plus, toilet paper is created close to every place where they distribute it because it's too expensive to ship. So they just have paper companies everywhere pumping out this toilet paper.
Yeah.
Like, where is it?
I saw stacks. Like, they over-ordered at Costco last time I was there.
Oh, you did?
Like, dude, it had to have been like 50,000. It was pallets and pallets and pallets. It was nuts. So I don't know. It seemed okay to me.
Last time I went to the store, the entire paper aisle was completely wiped clean, and that was 4 days ago. 4 or 5 days ago.
I'll send you some. I'll run by Costco for you and bring up a 65 pack.
The big stuff.
I'll trade you a Costco thing of toilet paper. It's good stuff too. It's a Charmin, man.
Oh no, I love Costco TV, man.
For your audio gear or something, maybe we'll make some sort of 6-foot trade. You put it down, I put mine down, and then we stay 6 feet away. We'll swap.
I like it, man. I like it. How have you been doing in regards to scammer calls? Have you been getting any scammer calls lately?
Not me.
I've kind of noticed they've slowed down. I used to get at least on average about 2 scammer calls a day on my cell phone, and usually at least 1 at my house. And I can't say I've gotten a scammer call in the last like 5 days. So I'm wondering if this whole situation kind of like took the wind out of their sails or something.
What I have been getting, though, is the occasional scammy text message, which has been really strange lately. Like, I'll get a random text from like one of those short numbers, right? It's like 786-62 or something.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, your free gift is available. Just click this link. And I'm like, what the fuck are you even talking about, man? That's a weird one for me, and I just blocked the number, but I'm not about to click a link that some random number texted me without being prompted. Like, I have 2-factor authentication and stuff, so like I'm used to getting texts that have numbers at least in them, but not links. Like, links are sketch, man. You don't, like, why are you even trying to text me a link right now? But I imagine though, you're going to see an uptick of like scammy emails and phone calls and things like that. Like, hey, this is your bank. We need your account information to get your federal fucking stimulus thing sent to you. Please enter all of your information here.
Dude, that's going to be a hot target, dude. I didn't even really think about that. But yeah, as soon as the stimulus check's coming out. Yeah, guys, definitely. I was thinking about that. That's bad, man.
It's meant to be very automatic. Like, if you did direct deposit of last year's tax thing, it'll just appear, from what I understand. Do your own research. Don't just trust me. It's supposed to just be direct deposited based off of your last either 2019 or 2018 tax return, or I think they're sending a check. But do your own research, look into it, and you'll be fine. But don't trust.
Yeah, because you're gonna have people. Dude, there's gonna be. I could think of so many angles on this that would probably work, like where people would call and be like, we sent you a check in the mail and it wasn't for enough. We actually have to give you another $10,000. So what we need you to do is go to this thing and like type in your social security number and your credit card number so that we can like verify and put the money into your account, and then people fall for it.
India lockdown, less scammer calls. Sure.
Actually, dude, that would be poetic justice. That would be poetic justice if all the scam call centers were closed down because they had like a lockdown order and the police were like, sorry, you can't go into your scam office and make scam calls. Stumpy said,
checks. If you weren't already set up for direct deposit, you have to go to the government website and set it up. Well, there you go. Again,
I'd prefer
trust
direct
but
deposit
verify.
because I don't want to go to the bank. I don't want to
Hell
touch
yeah,
anybody, man. I'm
Don't
over
send me a
that.
check. Who does checks anymore? Are you fucking old man? Come on.
I got all the human
Checks.
contact I need right here. You know, I got human contact A and human contact B. I don't need no more than that. And I got my alcohols right here. So don't be jealous.
I looked up thinking it was going to be like booze.
I mean, in a pinch. I think you can drink this.
Don't drink that.
Oh,
Don't do that.
isopropyl alcohol. You can't drink it.
You will probably go blind.
Well, I'm pretty blind already. I don't know. It might be worth the risk. I'm not gonna drink it. Oh my gosh. Let's see. You guys got any questions for us? If you guys have any topics you want us to hit us up in chat because we talked about our life after human malware. We talked about our NASCAR.
I still think we ought to try and find a way to like maybe, and this is just since we're just kind of off the cuff stuff. I do really think it'd be fun to have a small, like maybe toward the end segment of like, what does Houston know about?
Oh, dude, we got half an hour, man. Let's jump right into it. If you guys got random trivia questions for Houston, he knows a lot of really weird stuff.
I'll keep my hands up so I don't Google it or something. You know, it's like
he always
Ben Stein's money.
He is really weird in that he knows like really random things. So if you have like really random questions, like be sure to tag him in chat and ask him because he surprises me pretty much every stream with some rando thing. Hey, Ozzy Bogdan said,
it's a lot of fun.
Did you talk about the Philippines threatening to shoot people on site if they leave the homes? Oh, dude, that was crazy. Did you see that? I did see that on the news a couple days ago.
Said this?
The president in the Philippines. He literally like went on like the public, on the public news outlet, and he's like, if you leave your homes or whatever, you will be shot on sight. My military, my police forces will kill you. And then he also said if there's any fighting,
all crazy for a long time.
Yeah, he's like if there's any fighting or any domestic like events or whatever, that they're basically going to come and if you're lucky they'll arrest you. If you're not, we're just going to shoot you. And I was like,
I think they're on their third president since my high school. Like they've had like 2 or 3 different coups since I was in high school. I think like they've had some it's been unrest there for quite a while. So
same thing's happened in India too.
Which is unfortunate.
So Travis said, well, here in India, let's see, the cops are around beating people in the streets of India for violating lockdowns. I saw some YouTube videos of this where the cops are just running around with sticks and just beating the crap out of people that they're finding on the street. And like, and there was one video where the guy's like, hey, are you going out or whatever? And he turns around and he like pulls up his shirt and he's got like stick marks across his back.
Holy cow.
And he's like, yeah, I'm not going back out. I'm not going back out. Because he like walked out of his house and like walked a block and just got the crap beat out of him. And it's not just the police. I think other people are beating the crap out of him. Like I was watching these videos. It did not look like police. It looked like people were just like, get away from my store. Get away from my house. Like you're not supposed to be on the street. And they run out and beat the crap out of him, go back in their house.
Damn.
So yeah, so I am glad I am where I am. Like in the United States and in Washington State, I think honestly we are in a pretty good position. Our state has been really good about just ignoring all the propaganda and crap coming out of the federal government and just kind of doing our own thing. And it's actually been pretty successful in the grand scheme of things. So I'm pretty happy with the way things are going so far, all things considering.
I agree.
Let's see here. QA Library said, wondering if the data use has gone up in the shutdown of adult websites. Wait, they didn't shut down any adult websites, did they? Nobody told me
not that I know of.
All mine work. Like,
I mean, I'm not like.
I have like 700 of them bookmarked.
The pulse of the porn industry.
I mean, I open up every single tab at least 3 times a day, and so far nothing said Air 404, so I think we're good.
there may be a bit of a punctuation issue there. Like maybe data use has gone up, like comma in the shutdown, comma.
I mean, I know that there is a big data use boost
of adult websites have gone up in the shutdown, like because of. I think maybe there's a
if you're stuck at home, I mean, there's worse things to do. I do know that people working from home though has crippled bandwidth like severely where I'm at. Yeah. Because there's like right now, like here, let me even see. You probably have noticed even from the stream quality, it's probably been all over the place today. So actually today, I'm actually getting great ping times. For the last like week or two, I've been getting ping times that jump from like 12 milliseconds to 1200 milliseconds. And my internet provider wouldn't do anything about it. And you know why? Because today's Saturday. Nobody's working from home today. That's why. During the week, Monday through Friday, like clockwork, I get in here and it's like the ping times are all over the place. And it's not because the bandwidth is saturated. Like I'm still getting a good download speed. It's my upload speed that hurts. And it's because so many packets are going through the router for like all these like little desktop sharing protocols and stuff that it's just overwhelming the equipment of my internet service provider. And they're like, we're trying to upgrade as fast as we can. But here's what sucks about it is my internet provider is like not like Comcast, right? They don't have the resources to just upgrade all willy-nilly. So what they're doing now is they're going around, everybody's getting broadband connections that didn't have them. I didn't realize how many of my neighbors didn't have broadband. They were just using their phone internet, right? So it's dude, I've seen my internet provider's truck every single day in my cul-de-sac or across the street. Every day I see one at a different house in my cul-de-sac or the street over installing internet. Because so like 90% of my neighbors didn't have my internet connection. Now they all do, and every time I see those vans out there, it keeps getting slower and slower and slower because they're basically saturating the node. And they're like, we're doing our best, and I'm like, I get that. I mean, I totally understand that with like the time being. So I'm being like, I'm not being that customer. It's like calling them every day, like, fuck you guys, I'm trying to work here. But I didn't like their solution. Their solution to me was, just pay the $250 a month for a 2-year lease on a business line. I was like, no. I'm not gonna pay you guys 3 times as much for the same internet connection just with a static IP address, just so I can get the internet that I already paid for. And then there's still no guarantees. Once I sign that lease, if that bandwidth still isn't working, they can still just come back and go, network's saturated. That's just the internet for you. Be like, and then I'm stuck in a 2-year contract. There's no way. And the second I do that, fiber comes to town. Like, the second I sign that contract, like 3 days later, Fios is going to roll in and be like, dude, you want us to install fiber on the side of your house with like a 10 gig up, 10 gig down symmetrical for $4? I'll be like, oh no, curse you. Let's see, did we get any trivia questions for you? You see anything?
There was talk about meteorology, which, I mean, that's
you've proven
weather forecasting.
Well, actually,
what is there to say?
I mean, clouds
what
are
is there
clouds
to
are
say? What is there to say about meteorology? It might as well be like casting bones, reading tea leaves. Come on, no. I mean, come on. There's more to it than that. It is a legitimate science. It is a study of weather and
there's a lot of variables.
Sort of it's more than just your local weather guy predicting the forecast. Like, okay, there is legit like science. They do. Actually, there's a lot of data involved in weather forecasting and things like that. But yeah, I don't know.
It's funny. Somebody said
that's not very fun.
A couple in India named their newborn children Corona and COVID.
Oh, come on.
if that's true, that's actually kind of funny. Oh my gosh. Because the thing is, like, nobody's gonna forget this. This is gonna be the event of our generation, right? This is 9/11 2.0. Really, it's just a terrorist attack from a virus.
Yeah, we're living in history textbook events right now.
Exactly. So if you name your kid COVID-19, like 20 years down the road, they're gonna know what that means. Like they're gonna be like,
yeah, and it's gonna be weird. Like, actually, what the heck?
I wonder, could you put numbers? Can you legally put numbers in a name? I kind of wonder. Like you can pretty much get your name anything you want. I think. Man, I want to put that to test. I want to just change my name to 69 and see if they'll like let me do it.
Just spell it out.
Yeah. There you go. Just say 69. I want to do the number though. It's so much easier to write. John, thank you for the $5 tip. He said, thank goodness for bleach and paper towels because there is no disinfectant wipes to be found. We actually found a tiny little package, like a little travel package that was at the local store, and it was like the last one. We whipped that shit up. Said I had to make my own mix to clean surfaces at work. I've seen a lot of videos online on how to make sanitary towels. Like not for your butt, but like for like cleaning surfaces. And it's like you just take like paper towels and you put them in like a little box, and then you basically just pour a water bleach solution over the top of them, and then put the top on and just let it permeate into them, and then just kind of let them dry a little bit, and then seal them up, and then you got yourself little Clorox wipes. Nub said
versus Unraid. I don't know.
Wait, what was that?
I don't know the difference. The free NAS versus Unraid.
Oh, huge difference. So free NAS. Oh, go ahead.
That's just for storage, right? Free NAS is like for network attached storage, right? It's there in the name. Where Unraid, I hear Unraid related to a lot more of like virtual machines and
both can do that
thing.
Actually, FreeNAS and Unraid have the same capabilities when it comes to virtual machines and additional services and all that. What separates them out is how they do their storage. So the only reason I know this is because I flew down and set up Jay's Unraid solution. So FreeNAS is really cool. One, it's free. Unraid costs money. FreeNAS allows you to do a real RAID with hardware or software, which is you take a bunch of disks and you basically write to them simultaneously to get higher speeds, right? Unraid does it completely differently. Unraid actually uses a proprietary file system that allows them to write across multiple disks to where you can lose a disk. You can lose multiple disks and still retain all your data. You can also set up FreeNAS to do similar things. But with Unraid, the way they do it is they actually have extra drives that are like caching drives. And then they have the storage drives, which are the huge, slow lumbering media. And they have an algorithm that sorts that all up and figures out how to do like mesh distribution over a network and everything. It's honestly, in my opinion, the easier to set up option and the better option long term. In my opinion, Unraid is the better option for having a network attached storage versus FreeNAS. However, FreeNAS is hugely capable. Like, it's a little bit more of a bitch to set up and everything, but it's more capable. And theoretically, you can get more performance from FreeNAS than you can from Unraid. But Unraid gives you the best of everything. Like it's a best balance of everything: the performance, the reliability, the ease of use, which is really big for people that have to manage their own networks and stuff that don't have an IT guy. So,
okay.
But if you're just at home, like, FreeNAS works great. I used FreeNAS for about 3 years before I moved to QNAP and Synology. And I just did that for ease of use. I just wanted systems that were completely built just for storage and had really good redundancy and really good record. My FreeNAS box had 24 drives in it, and they were just rando drives in multiple different RAID groups. But the problem is, every time something died, I had to pull the whole rack mount thing out, pop the lid off, and try to get the drive out. Whereas like the Synology, it's like a drive dice. You just go dink and slide it out of the front, put another one in,
nice.
dink, and it just automatically rebuilds everything. You don't have to go in and like do anything. It's just completely self-sustaining. So it just depends. It depends on what you want, but Unraid is definitely worth the money, though. Like, I was really surprised with how good Unraid was. Plus, it supports a lot more hardware. FreeNAS's hardware support is good, but it's not brilliant, especially when it comes to like 10 gigabyte NICs, especially the cheap 10 gigabyte NICs.
Okay.
But Unraid supports everything. Like, I've yet to find hardware that you don't install Unraid on. It's like it just finds like your rando HP 10 gigabyte card that you got for $10 off eBay, and it's like, oh, good to go. Hey, NATO, or is it Naoto? Naota, thank you for that $10 super chat. He says, Barnacules and AuxxZillary, happy Saturday. He said, glad the show's going. Have you guys heard about zero-day exploit of Zoom teleconferencing software? Yes. Have you heard about that?
Yeah, I heard about that.
Oh,
yeah,
God,
there's been
dude.
a lot of stuff thrown around about Zoom privacy issues and that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Did you hear about the people that were joining grade school conferences with their wang dangs out?
Yeah, there's like Facebook, or no, it's like Twitter and Instagram groups that are like coming together to harass Zoom meetings and stuff. Yeah, they'll get links to a school, some meeting or whatever. They'll get the link to it and then crash the party kind of thing.
Yeah, that was I only caught it on the news, and I know that it goes deeper because I've been seeing Zoom everywhere. But the one that really like caught my eye when I was on there was like my son does like video conferencing with his class. He does a virtual class where his teacher's there, and then like 20 other students are like in all there. And they don't use Zoom, luckily, but it got me thinking. Yeah. And I was like, man, it's just a matter of time before people like start breaking into these things and doing stuff. And then sure enough, the news pops on. It's like, oh my gosh, this class was doing their like thing with their teacher, and like 5 dudes just like popped in with like cropped in on their wangs. It was like, oh, kill yourself, kids. And I was like, oh, my God, dude. Like, come on. Is there no limit? There's no limit, man.
No, of course not. Like, a non-Mason is like, what do you expect with 12-year-olds, sharing the links and stuff? And it's not just, it's unfair to just blame kids. Like, it's not just kids. It's
not kids.
Fucking stupid adults too. Like, why are people even bothering to do this? Because you got nothing better to do with your time. But it's growing pains. We'll figure out the right way to do this stuff so that it's private and whatnot. But
yeah, so if your school during this time or anybody is using Zoom, I would recommend to them that they switch to something else, because there's just too many damn holes in it.
That can be locked down. That like you only Discord even. I don't know if we can do more than one-on-one.
You can do up to 50, dude.
Discord, and you can you have certain logins and stuff. You can totally or password protect your meetings. I don't know if that. I imagine that probably a thing, but like people would share the password too. So you need levels of like permission and security and stuff, which is easily capable on Discord or other tools and stuff. It's like, but we'll figure it out. Like, it's a bunch of newbie people who've never done this before, all trying to like, put it all together really fast. So
yeah, it kind of reminds, what it harkens back to is, do you remember a program back in the day called See You See Me?
Yeah.
From
early video.
I'm trying to remember the name of the company that made it. It was like White something software.
CU.
Yes, CU. Yeah, it was like the letter CU and then SEEME.
Let's see. Internet video conferencing client. Who did it? Originally written by Tim Dorsey of the Information Technology Department at Cornell.
Cornell, that's what it was. It was Cornell. Okay.
Yeah.
So I remember back in the day, and it's funny because it's like now I'm going to like openly admit to doing something like really creepy when I was a kid. So I was about 12, I want to say 12 or 13 when See You See Me came out. And I didn't have a webcam because, I couldn't afford one. Like, they were really expensive. They were like $150 for that little bubble Logitech black and white webcam back in the day.
My dad had that one.
Yeah, it plugged in via serial, like 9-pin serial, 115 Yeah, it was super slow. So so I couldn't afford one of those. So on See You See Me, I'm like 12 or 13, God, kids like back then, it's like my parents had no idea what I was doing on the computer. So I had a shell account that I'd call up to at my local internet provider, and then I'd turn it to something called Slip using something, what was it called? Slurp was the thing I used. They would turn it into a Slip account, which is what we know today as a modern day internet connection, a graphical internet connection. So then you'd go into Windows 3.1, you'd open up your, Netscape Navigator or and then use your WinSock connection to connect to it. So anyways, the See You See Me software came out, and I remembered that on IRC, there was all these channels, these adult channels that you'd go into. That, being a 12 or 13-year-old boy, I was like in all these channels, like, doing all kinds of nefarious shit. I think I even told the story once about how I like sold porn ads. Like I got people to go to porn ads for 5 cents a pop and made like $400. So, that I got to keep, by the way. Yes. Anyways, proud moments from my history. Well, anyways, I remember when See You See Me came out, there was a issue where if you connected to somebody and if you opened See You See Me, all you had to do was put in the IP address of the person, and it would just connect to it, and it would just open up a video and start going. Like there was no there was no answer or close. You literally just put in the IP address of the person that you wanted to call, because back then IP addresses weren't really published anywhere. It was like you had to give the IP address to somebody and be like, call me, and then it would just open up in a window. And like you could just be sitting there with it open and give like your IP address in an IRC channel, and it'd just be like boom, 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 like 20 people would join in.
Wow.
And they'd all be like 1 or 2 frames per second, black and white. I think there was a couple colored cameras, and this is all over like a 14.4 connection, like a 14 baud.
Yeah, we're talking like 3 FPS. That's crazy.
Like it was really shitty. So what I figured out was if you go into an IRC channel and you finger all the users using this protocol called Finger, you can get all their IP addresses. So I'd go into a channel like, hashtag sex or hashtag meetup or something like that, and I would just finger everybody in the channel, and then I wrote a script that would just have See You See Me connect to every single IP address. And so it'd be like no connection, no connection, no connection, no connection, but some people would have their See Me, and it'd just be like connected, and it would just pop up on the screen, and you would just see a room, and there'd be like nobody in it. Ding, 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 and another one would pop up, and you see a room, and there'd be like a person looking at their computer that didn't realize that it was like running, minimized. Yeah. And so you're just sitting there watching them, and they're just like, and so I could go into a channel, and I could get like 10 plus people on the screen. Then they'd start to figure it out. After a couple minutes, you'd see like disconnected. They just go to the channel and do it again. And there was no way to ban. You couldn't ban IP addresses and stuff. So as long as the program was open, you'd call and it would just connect. And so me and my friend Jake, he'd come over all the time. We'd just go IRC channel just for hours, just for entertainment. And the shit that we saw like made Omegle tame. Dude, it was so bad, the shit that we ran across. Oh my God.
The internet days had all kind of crazy stuff out there, man. Yeah,
so fucking bad, dude. But hey, bite my bits. Speak of the devil, we were talking about your April Fool's prank, buddy. Thank you for that $10 super chat. He said almost at 28 million folding. Damn, dude. Jeez, aiming for 100 million TP reward you promised. Hey, I'll give it to you, bro. And the Kraft lawsuit was just a bad joke with fake merch I made that people took way more seriously than I thought they would. I know. I even did an April Fool's joke saying I'm going to make more YouTube videos, and some people actually believed it. On April 1st, I literally said I'm going to start making YouTube videos again, and everybody's like, "Oh my God, finally!" I'm like, "Dude, it's April Fool's!" Like y'all laughed when Linus said he was quitting YouTube and going to Twitch or whatever, and
that was so clickbaity. I'm thinking of quitting YouTube. It's like, well, yeah, if you watch the video, I've been thinking about it. I'm not actually gonna leave.
Yeah,
it was a very heartfelt video, but like,
well,
there was a touch of clickbaitiness there.
Yeah, so Linus, he knows how to work the clickbait. Linus is pretty good at working the clickbait. his viewership on his videos and everything are good because of it, right? You have to get that initial hit. People don't realize that. It's like if you put a bunch of effort into a video and then you're like, oh, I don't want to be clickbaity, I'm going to create a title. Dude, half the people aren't going to click on it. Like, there's a tasteful way to do clickbait, then there's a distasteful way to do it. If you make your thumbnail like a picture that's not from the video of like some girl's rack, and then the title of the video is like, oh my god, Sex 69 now, watch now, best video top 10, or something like, okay, that's bad clickbait. Like, report that shit and get it taken down. But if you make a video and there's like a pun to be had or something from it, or like an angle, or you have to watch this to find out or something like that, and the thumbnail is a legit frame from your video or something like that, yeah, go for it, man. You get tons of extra views. Yeah, it does actually work. CPP Crispy said the difference is that we want you to make YouTube videos. I know you do. I need a haircut first, though, before I do that. We're going to let Miss Barnacules cut my hair, and I told her if she messed up my haircut, that I'm just going to buzz my head. So you may see me looking like Private Pile on the next couple live streams. Mr. Clean. I don't think I'm going to... I won't shave it. I won't shave it bald, but I will buzz it down to like a 1. So it just looks like I have a crude cut or something like that. Maybe shorten it on the sides a little bit.
I'm kind of excited for my post quarantine haircut. Like I might do something different.
Yeah, you were kind of big on getting the beard maintenance too, right? You enjoyed going and getting the full experience, right?
Yeah, there's always a trim when I get my haircut. So.
Do you do it, or what are you doing in the meantime? Are you just letting her grow out, or are you still managing it? Just I have a nice pair of little scissors, and I just try and keep it off my lip as best as possible. But otherwise, same routine, just brush it out. Nice. Oh, John said, are these candles back in stock yet? Where is my candle? Where's my penis candle? It went away. I don't know where it is. Oh shit! I stepped on the pedal.
Got possessed for a second.
Where's my candle? Dude, somebody stole my penis candle. It's like literally not here, and I don't know why. Here, Sergeant Danger,
out of stock.
Get you
out
some.
of stock. I mean,
get you some. Is it out
he
of
sold
stock?
the very last one.
Oh, there it is. I found it. Oh, I found it.
Back in stock.
Yep, back in stock. There's precisely one on my store. It's going for $675,000. This smells like my penis candle. From poop, not goop. It's from poop. Pay. Let's see. What do we got? So, you guys, come on, you guys. We need some. If you guys don't give Houston a trivia question, I'm just gonna start throwing them at him. I'm just gonna start.
Oh, there was. I missed it.
Was one.
Somebody had a Ghostbusters trivia. Casey Clark got a Ghostbusters trivia question for you. Go. We kind of missed it because nobody was tagged.
Oh crap! Well, give it to us again, buddy.
Are you still here? What did I say it was? Casey Clark. What's the trivia? I do pretty good. I've done a couple like bar trivia games, and I've done pretty good.
Oh my god, Naota said, did you see the news? I saw a thumbnail for a news article and I didn't click it because it was way too clickbait, but apparently it's true. He said, did you see the news about Amazon workers in New York stating that Amazon states that dildos are essential products? They actually should be, though, because you got to keep people home, you got to keep them entertained, right? So
there's an argument there, I suppose. I mean, a lot of like liquor stores and stuff are open as essential business. Yep. It's like,
what about fleshlights though? Or I will call bullshit if fleshlights aren't essential.
I figure that's
you got to be fair. Similar. You got to be fair, bro. Did we get the question yet, or did he bail on us?
No, he's here. Who turned down the role of Winston Vettermore, although the role was originally written for that actor? Probably like Eddie Murphy. I'm guessing. I don't know for sure, but probably Eddie Murphy.
Oh, that's a good guess, dude. That might actually be it.
Because considering the time frame, the character, probably Eddie Murphy. Just and the crew too. Like, what two out of the 3 other Ghostbusters were from SNL, so why wouldn't it have been Eddie
That's
Murphy?
A super good point, dude.
I got it right.
You got it. My God. Yeah, right when you said it, I was like, yeah, the time frame's right. They were all on SNL. That would make sense, right? So, wow. Dude, I bet you Eddie Murphy's kicking himself in the ass for turning that one down, though.
Well, maybe. Was Seattle the first primary city in Western Washington? No, I don't think so.
Do you know which one is?
I want to say Tacoma was the bigger one for if we're talking like colonization, Oregon Trail times. You didn't give a time frame, so I'm going as far back as I think I can. I would think Tacoma was a more primary city before Seattle. But Seattle would have picked up after shipping and stuff started getting really big up into Alaska and Canada.
I'm going to say it's a logging town like Shelton or Aberdeen. That's my guess.
So,
can anybody verify the answer on that one?
Apple Maggot says yes, railroad. So Tacoma. I was right about Tacoma.
Oh, it was Tacoma?
I'm thinking.
Damn.
Because it would have been so like the Oregon Trail thing ended in like Willamette Valley or something, and it just makes sense that would have been the next closest. Oh yeah, so Tacoma. It would have been the next closest, like just almost straight as an arrow as you could get up from where yeah, I don't know. It just seems to make sense.
Dude, that is crazy. 2 for 2. Damn. Hey, Sakura, thank you for the $2 super chat. We appreciate that. Houston and I split all the super chats, so we're very thankful.
Thank you.
Tacos rule. Also, I still sit on IRC. That's awesome. Yeah, IRC is still going strong. As a matter of fact, Discord's back end is IRC. I wouldn't be surprised if YouTube's back end for chat is an IRC.
Yeah, almost certainly.
Beverly Hills Ghostbuster. That would have been a good movie. Oh, here we go. Leslie's got one for you.
Ahead.
Trivia. Okay. What year did the first Voodoo 3DFX card release?
Oh, man.
Oh, I don't even know that. And I had one.
The very first Voodoo 3DFX card released.
So the daughter card.
I'm going to guess, but I would, and I'm thinking like early 90s, like 92, 93.
Let's see. I'm going to say 94. I'm going to go with 94. But I think you're actually right.
I'll lock in at 93. I'll lock in at 93.
Let's see. What is
93?
Somebody said 1999. Are
People
they just guessing? Or?
They're just like throwing numbers out. No, I'll wait for Leslie to say.
All right, let's see. I'll give you a backup confirmation. So, okay, so let me pull up.
It says 1996.
The company was founded in 1994, and yeah, 1996 was when they released their first Voodoo graphics chip. Damn. Dude, I remember that card well, though. Like, you had to run a little, like, 6-inch dongle. Yeah. Remember that? The VGA, you had to run it through the card, and then you could put in multiple cards, and you could actually just loop the... Yeah, my buddy had two 3DFX cards, and they do the SLI, which is Scan Live Interleave. Each card would do half the resolution. So one card would draw a line, the next card would draw a line, and it had a loopback cable going through it because it was just adding to the video signal. It was like a really cheeseball way of doing it, so it didn't have to go through the bus because the bus was so slow back then. Dude, that card changed everything, though. Like, everything that we have modern, we owe to 3DFX. Like, we absolutely do.
For sure.
Let's see, what history of long hiking trails? I don't know it. Hit me with an answer.
I'm not sure what to do with that question.
Yeah, I don't
honestly.
Either. Oh, here we go.
Because, like...
Okay. What about the answer to the universe and everything? Well, he already gave it. Damn it! He already gave you the answer.
So, the answer, but the question has been centered to the kind of pivotal to those books. And if I remember right, and they landed on the math question. He pulled Scrabble tiles out of a bag, and it was like, what's 7 times 4 or something, 6, something like that. It was a math. It was a goofy multiplication.
So that's the story behind it, or
that turned it out. So they in Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, they built the Earth was like basically a giant supercomputer to find out the answer to life, the universe, and everything. Comes out with the answer of 42. But the trouble was they didn't have a question for the answer.
Oh,
they were trying to make a bigger, better, crazier computer to try and figure out the question. But, that's what Earth was supposed to do. Earth was supposed to figure out the question as a giant supercomputer. And since the main character, I can't recall his name now, was from Earth, there was like he was part of the supercomputer. They had him put his hand into a bag of like Scrabble tiles and randomly pull letters out, and it came out what is 7 times whatever
for 42
to equal 42. I can't recall. And I believe that was the answer that they all that was the question they all agreed to. I think. I could be wrong.
Miss Barnacules asked a question. She said, "Trivia: the first computer mouse. How many buttons did it have, and what material was it made of?"
Probably one and wood. I don't know.
Postman. Oh, so Postman guessed that one and wood. I would have thought it'd be something like Bakelite, but I guess if you're making a prototype for something, wood would be the best way to start.
Yeah.
So, do we have a confirmation on that? Is it wood and one? Let's see here. Because my guess would have been it'd be like Bakelite, one button, and it probably would have been created by Xerox. Would have been my guess because Xerox had the first graphical user interface. So let's see here. First mouse
prototype.
Who invented the first mouse? All right, here, let's
wood
see.
And one.
Was
Bill
it really?
English
Oh
joined
my
ARC.
God! It's like a block
They've
of
got
wood
pictures
too.
even, with like a big cylinder roller in it.
Here, let's do this. What is the first production mouse? Let's see here. The first production workstation and mouse was made in 1967. The mouse had a plastic
Apple.
casing on a metal base, although the casing was originally designed the cord to be attached to the wrist the side of the device. Okay, so
Apple didn't exist during the beginnings of like the real beginnings of personal computing. It was all Xerox and Hewlett Packard or Packard Bell or something, whatever precursor.
Yeah, I know.
Xerox bigly to use one of my smart words.
Well, I know Xerox created the first graphical user interface that was the basis of Windows. Like Bill Gates straight up ripped that crap off. Yeah. So Xerox is crazy to think about it because Xerox was like huge in the 80s. I remember growing up, like copy machines were everywhere. Xerox machines were everywhere. Xerox kind of died out, but it's like they are responsible for like literally the servers and the desktop computer and everything like that. Like Xerox was light years ahead of everybody else. And then you have Microsoft swooping in and stealing that thunder. Hey, Acid Burns, thank you for the $5. He said $5 make you holler. He said back in 1999, if you knew that a user was logged into Hotmail, you could just type Hotmail / in their username and you could see in his or her account. I didn't actually know that. I believe it though, because there was like no security back in the day. Like I used to fancy myself a hacker back in like the early 90s, breaking into .gov shell accounts and stuff like that, just because I wanted to see what was on the FTP sites and the shares. And I'll tell you what, man, like half that shit, you could just like type in admin and just hit enter for the password, and it would just like log you right in. Like, and we're talking on .gov sites like back in the 90s. It's crazy, absolutely crazy. Let's see, what do we got? What else we got here? Oh, you were saying what? Metropolis equals New York?
Oh, where is the original Gotham City? Hint: it's not New York. I always thought Metropolis, a Superman's center, was more equivalent to New York. Gotham always struck me as like
Queens?
New Jersey, or like somewhere south. I know that they're very close to each other. I know Metropolis and Gotham City should be very close to each other. I remember, and maybe this isn't canon, but I remember them being like across the bay or across some small body of water from each other. They're close.
Ooh, Chicago. I could see Gotham being Chicago. Like I've been to Chicago. Chicago's a lot of tall, old school buildings, a lot of Art Deco. Like
Gotham equals Detroit, and then Metropolis is Chicago. Like I know that I'm very confident in saying, I mean the real world, and it originates around the early ages. It's not America. Oh, then no idea.
To be fair, Chicago and Detroit are similar places. Yeah, your likelihood of getting stabbed within 3 city blocks is about the same. Peter Berg, thank you for the 10 sex. We always like getting some sex from you, brother.
Oh, thanks.
Appreciate
thanks,
the sex.
So I guess I'm thumbs down on that one.
Still though, man, two out of 4, not bad. Well, then you got the mouse one too, so that'd be three out of 4. Not bad, bro. I'm trying to think of what I could ask you. Like here, I kind of want to throw you a curveball that I know the answer to see if you maybe don't know the answer to it. Let me see. Oh God, what would you not know? Because the problem is you always say, I know program, and then we talk about programming, and you're all like throwing out programming shit.
I understand the concepts of programming. I'm not a programmer. I can read, but not do it. Not anymore.
Okay, what?
I'm still very humble about my software abilities.
I'm trying to think of like maybe some Microsoft trivia or something like that. So
That'd be a good one.
Let's see. So Microsoft trivia, what would be a good one? Who? Actually, this one it's mainstream enough, but nobody seems to know it. Okay, so who was the president? Okay, so who was the president? Not the CEO of the company. Who was the president of the Microsoft Windows division at Microsoft in 2008.
Who knows? I have no clue, man. 2008. I don't even
2008.
think I owned a PC in 2008. I think I was a console guy at that point in my life. I don't know. Literally, the only like upper echelon people I know of at Microsoft are Gates and Ballmer, and who's the newer one? Satya
Nadella, yeah,
something like that. Satya Nadella, he's the boss now, right? He's
Yep.
he's the Bill Gates equivalent, right?
Yep.
Now, because Gates stepped away.
Yeah,
So-
and Gates like completely stepped down. He's out of the picture. So it'd be Jim Allchin. Have you ever heard of Jim Allchin?
Nope.
So he actually signed my Ship It award. Not my Ship It award. Where's my Hero award? So yeah, Will Poole, Jim Allchin, Bill Gates, and Steve Ballmer were the four bigwig execs in the Windows division,
Okay.
and the head honchos at Microsoft. So right, because you had Gates and Ballmer, they were the CEO. Actually, Gates dropped out. I think Gates was dropped out already in 2008. So Jim was still in it, and then Will Poole was still in it, and they were basically like the people that like from Gates down to the president of the Windows division. They were all the people that were in between. So they all reported directly upline to Ballmer and then to Gates. So and it's because they signed they were the ones that signed like all the hero awards and stuff like that. So I was like, oh, that'd be an interesting piece of trivia because that's the one person everybody knows Gates and Ballmer. Like that, everybody knows that.
Yeah,
a lot of people even know who Will Poole is.
Publicly facing.
Yeah, but for some reason, Jim Allchin, unless you're like super hardcore, you worked at Microsoft, not a lot of people know who he is, even though he was literally the president of Windows, and he was the front-facing guy in all the internal company stuff, like the company meetings and stuff like that. He had a huge presence. Like he was like, so, but people don't ever remember that guy. Oh, and he played a guitar. He'd always come out playing a guitar. Like he was super guitar guy. He was kind of a dick though. I had to work with him for a very long time. He was a little bit of a crybaby. Christian Nanya, thank you for the 10 PLNs. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Let's see here. More than anything, this reminds me of the polio epidemic my mom used to tell us about. I've heard this mostly like compared to the 1918 like Spanish flu, but I really hope that comparison isn't earned because that shit like went south really fast. But at least our response to it is very similar. Bubba to Matt, thank you for the $2. He said, kill me halfway through a 16-hour shift, bored as fuck. Well, hey, dude, honestly, right now, I would way rather be bored at work than busy. Like I don't want a bunch of people like coming in and going and wanting to touch me and put their fingers in my mouth and stuff like that. So I'm just saying. I
know this one. This one from Temp Error. I think I feel I can get most of this question. What are the 4 known fundamental forces in the universe?
Oh,
this was gonna be hard.
Hold on, I gotta write down my guesses here.
I'll wait.
Okay, so I got 2 of them. Let's see. Okay, I got my guesses.
I think I have 3 of the 4, and one of the one is a guess.
Okay, I got my 4 down. I want to see how close I am to your guess.
So electromagnetism, which might be a bit of a fudge. You could probably split those. You have the strong and weak nuclear force, and then I think gravity counts as one, but I'm not entirely sure. That's the one I'm guessing on. Electromagnetism, strong and weak nuclear forces, and gravity.
All right, my guesses were gravity, light matter, and antimatter. So I'm curious to see what we got. You know what? I'm gonna give you gravity. Well, you said gravity, right? You did say gravity, or did you put it with electromagnetism?
That's the one I'm not entirely sure about. Oh, I got it right.
Wait, that was it?
Nuclear forces, gravity, and electromagnetism.
Shit, son! My God, the boy is on fire.
Gravity is a weird one because, like, so this is where we're going to get into the weird esoteric stuff. Gravity isn't. It's like it's not. It isn't real. I don't know. It's like a weird fuzzy thing because it isn't. I think some physicists might say gravity isn't a force on its own. It's like a symptom. That's not the right word. It's a result of the bending of the fabric of space-time due to the mass of an object, right?
Yep.
It isn't a force on its own necessarily. It's more of like a result. It's a symptom of the bend. And so like I don't know that necessarily counts. I'm sure that's a fat argument in physics.
Yeah.
I guarantee people argue about that kind of thing over lunch and stuff in the physics departments at universities.
Yeah, because I know there's a lot of arguments with gravity not being as constant as we thought it was. So as it relates to like mass, like everything has gravity. They have instruments that are so sensitive now that they can actually sense the gravity from like, you know, a marble.
If you have mass, if there's mass, there's gravity.
There's gravity. There always is.
Yeah.
But I thought that they were having a problem with certain situations, and I think this is where they were wondering if the existence of antimatter. Right? They've yet to prove. They know it's there. It's like everything says it's there, but we don't. I don't think we have the proof.
We can create antimatter. Actually.
Oh, we've done it. This has actually been done.
Yeah, in very, 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 very small doses. They have created it in very small amounts.
So now it's absolute fact. Like it's no longer theoretical.
100%.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, that makes sense.
The big question is how come we have a regular matter universe and not an antimatter universe, or why wasn't there an even production of both? And just evenly annihilated everything. So like why wasn't there? Why is there more regular matter than there is antimatter? Like what happened very, very early on in the creation of the universe that tipped it toward one way or the other?
I think one of the theories that I was looking at is that antimatter might be more abundant. That we just don't know it. Like antimatter is hugely abundant in the universe. We just don't physically see it or don't have a way to like contain it and like test that. Like even the empty vacuum of space where there's literally nothing, they think that there could be antimatter in that space. There could be.
The thing is, it's like if any sort of antimatter.
Oh, sorry, Elliot's right. My bad. Yeah, I'm talking about dark energy, not. No,
dark matter. Dark matter, dark energy. That, yeah. Again, there's a big blank in the like the equation of the universe. Like there's a lot of stuff out there, and we have no way of knowing like what that is.
And they haven't proved that one yet, right? That's still theoretical.
It's a big question mark. It's a big variable in the equations and stuff. It's like there has to be something there, but yeah, we haven't identified what it is.
Yeah, see, that's the argument I thought I heard, is that antimatter might not be actual matter, but the absence of matter. But I think you said that they've already created antimatter in small amounts.
It's a thing. Yeah, it's a thing. The thing, well, and the neat thing is like because it's like opposite, right? So when it interacts with regular matter, it's an annihilation. It's a pure transfer of mass into energy. They annihilate, poof, and it just becomes it's a 100% conversion of mass to energy.
Yeah, because the reason we have to know it exists is because Big Bang wouldn't be possible without it, right? Because Big Bang is literally antimatter and matter coming together. Because they think that's the only thing that could create an explosion like that.
Yeah, it's weird. Yeah, it's
basically the universe. Have you heard the theory that the universe is a piston? Basically in an engine where it's just exploding outward, then it implodes, then the mass of it collapses in on itself and creates another explosion and then another explosion.
Right.
And I think that's actually been largely disproven because they are finding that things are moving away at a higher speed.
Yeah, so, the universe is expanding and accelerating.
My God, this Bazinga guy, right?
Bazinga X.
This fucking Bazinga guy. Oh, Curtis, thank you for that $5, by the way. He said, love listening to your chat and hearing your observations. But Bazinga's coming in again, making sure that we get paid during this pandemic. We appreciate it, Bazingas. Love you long time.
Would a 420 rad be enough cooling for a Threadripper 3970X? Yes, by far. Plenty. Yes.
Now, a Threadripper 3970X, is that the 7 nanometer stuff? Or...
I think that's current gen.
Okay, because I was going to say, if that's 7 nanometer, like cooling should be highly efficient on that chip, right? Because like lower power consumption and all that jazz.
Yeah, the third gen stuff is great. Yeah, it's great. I know Puget is air cooling a few of the Ryzen chips. It used to be that they were all liquid. You know, we'd use AIOs all the time. But yeah, they're great. The current gen AMD stuff is tip top.
No, I actually my next build will probably be an AMD. Like I've been thinking about it. It's like I've been an Intel fanboy for like most of my life. I mean, all the way back to like my Pentium, right? My very first Pentium, my 486. I want to say the only AMD I think I ever had was a 386. I had an AMD 386 chip back in the day because the DX was way cheaper, the AMD version. But I've always had Intel. Like everything's been Intel, like pretty much my entire life, and all the way like Celeron 300A, Pentium 90, 486 DX266. That was an Intel. Yep. Everything was Intel, and I tried to think about it long and hard, and I was like, yeah, I never went down the K5. I never had a K5 or a K6. I never did any of that. I always stayed Intel, and it's like now I look at it and I'm like, man, AMD is just crushing it. Just crushing it. So I do want to get my hands on some AMD shit, but this stuff's still way fast, man. Like, the PC you built me years ago is still today, like, crazy fast. Like, there is no, I can't justify any reason to upgrade at this point. Elliot said,
AMD for max frames during gaming.
Which
NVIDIA.
Or was that
Intel or AMD for max frames during gaming? I said NVIDIA.
Oh, Elliot said it's actually harder to cool because you have more hotspots due to the 7 nanometer.
Huh.
I'll have to look into that. That's interesting because you'd think the more power efficient chip being I don't know, being more small and more efficient and less power flowing through it, there'd be less heat to dissipate.
Yeah, I don't know.
Right? Because I think in electronics it's like, I mean, you have to create heat. Like, there's no way to consume electricity and not create heat. There has to be a transfer there. So the more power you put into something, the more heat that comes out of it. So if you have 7 nanometer and it's more efficient, you have to push less power through it. It should technically make less heat. Are my thermodynamics off here, sir? Come on, you know the 4 fundamental powers of the fucking universe. Now antimatter works, and you can't tell me this? Come on.
You know?
Come on, bro.
I mean, it sounds all right.
Oh, here's a question. Here's another trivia question. Who was the actor in the early version of Predator to be in the suit, the Predator suit?
Dude, I couldn't tell you who is in there.
I have no idea. I have no idea who the person was that was actually the Predator.
No idea.
I mean, he's scary. Whoever he was scary as fucking good at it, though, because the Predator, man, I had nightmares about that shit when I was a kid. I don't
know. Sylvester Stallone.
Dude, they hated each other back then.
Yeah.
Oh my god, dude, did they hate each other back then? But that's good, right?
To be Jean-Claude Van Damme? No shit.
No, dude, the Predator would have been like 3.5 feet tall. Arnold Schwarzenegger would have been like towering over it.
I mean, I do think he's a little bit small, right?
Yeah, I've seen him tons of times in videos. He's kind of a small dude. Oh, is the Predator small? I thought the Predator was huge.
A little, like more average size compared to.
Let's see. I got
fail on thermodynamics. Hey,
I want to see here the Predator. Oh no, the Predator, dude. He's like towering over him. I mean, he's human size, but he looks like he's big. He's bigger and taller than Arnold Schwarzenegger. Let's see though. I'm curious. That was creepy. Okay, where is it here? I want to see. Is there a shot of them next to each other? Let me see if I can find this. That was a great movie, though. I love that they got so many famous people in that movie.
I liked Predator and Predator 2.
I can confirm it. I just saw the closed captions going through in here. It says once Jean-Claude Van Damme quit and the Predator was redesigned, they had to find. Hold on here.
DVD quit and the Predator was redesigned. They had to find a really, really big guy to play opposite Dutch for the final showdown.
Harry and the Hendersons.
Okay, so Kevin Peter Hall was 7'6" and he played the Predator, so he is massive.
Yeah, did he also play the alien? Jeez.
He might have, dude. He's huge. This dude is crazy big. I wish I could show you guys on screen.
The dude in who played the xenomorph in the original Alien was like 7+.
Yeah,
too. He was gigantic.
Yeah, like you've seen the guy that plays Master Chief in the Netflix series and all the cutscenes and stuff that they did. He's like 7'1" or 7'2". I saw him at I went to Emerald City Comic-Con, and he was and Microsoft was there. This is after I'd already been laid off though, so I didn't get any special privileges to go in there. But I'm walking down there and I see this door open up, and this dude like ducks down, full Master Chief and everything, comes walking out, and I'm like, there's no stilts. Like, the dude is just massive, and two people are like walking with him to guide him so he doesn't clunk into people and stuff like that. But I was like, damn. And then later on, I saw him when he was going back into the room, he took off his helmet so that I could see him. I was like, dude, this guy is massive. But he's also slender enough, like a basketball player, that he can fit into the Master Chief armor. But it was pretty cool to see that in person. I was like, and I thought that he was just cosplaying it for the event, but they're like, no, this is the guy that was actually in the armor for the whole series.
Wow.
That they did. So they actually got him to come to Emerald City Comic-Con and gear up, because he's the only one the armor will fit. Like, where do you find another dude that you can put Master Chief armor on? It's like there's not a lot of people running around that are like 7'1", 7'2" with that build, right? Like the guy that played, was it C-3PO in Star Wars?
Little guy, yeah.
Yeah, he was like super skinny, right? That was the only way they could get him into that tiny little suit and make him look like a robot. He was like the super skinny dude. But he was kind of, tall and lumbery, What year did IBM first market its dot matrix printer? Shit, I have no clue on that one.
Yeah, right. I don't know, 1947.
Because I'm pretty sure dot matrix printers have been used all the way back into maybe the 70s. Before that, I think they were using the typewriter type, where it was basically just like the text.
Yeah,
the
right.
font was built into the printer. I know that they have one at the Living Computer Museum. I've seen it there. Like they have the first dots matrix printer there, and it's actually working. But I don't remember the details on it. It's huge though. 1962. Okay, yeah, it's huge, man. Like the old dots matrix printers were massive.
I have no idea.
Wait, they said in comment, I don't understand. Imagine you're shit at basketball, but everybody loves you. Oh, shit at basketball means suck at basketball. Okay, I got it.
Yeah.
Dude, that's why the guy became Master Chief. He got kicked off the team.
1957.
He just wasn't good.
What is the speed of light in a vacuum? I wouldn't be able to give you the exact figure, but it's something like 257,000 miles per second, something like that.
I'm going to say 126,000 miles per second. Who's closer?
It's definitely over 200,000. Definitely over 200,000.
All right, I'm gonna see here. 'Cause for some reason, 126,000 popped up into my head. It's higher? Oh shit!
286,000.
Well, I know light takes what 8 minutes to get from the sun to here.
Yeah.
So 386,000 miles per second. Jeez.
Wait. Kilometers or miles per?
That's actually a good
second?
point. Yeah, because that's kilometers, and you got to have it. Yeah, it's kilometers.
Just so
God
that we're
damn it,
clear.
you were close. you were close. Because it's so 300,000 kilometers. No, there's no way it's a round number. There's no fucking way it's a round number.
No, they would be very specific. I mean, if we want to get super science, but
This seems like an easy one to just
300,000
look up.
kilometers, which translates to 186,000 miles per second. So,
Oh, so I was technically
I think you were closer.
No,
I think you were
126,000 miles per second. So it's 186. So I got the 1 and the 6 right. I missed the 2. That's still dude, that's still fast though. And here's this is the shit that blows my mind when you think about like, physics, right? It's like light can travel at that speed, correct? Like light has a finite speed that it has to travel within the laws of the universe, right? So what if light is coming from the other direction? You have 2 stars and light's going in both directions. The speed of the collision is going to be double the speed of light, right?
No. I don't think that's how that works.
How does that work? Because if you have, it's like the old story problem where you have a train coming from this speed and a train coming from this speed. What is the intersection speed?
They're both going the same speed,
right?
Because because
relative to the universe,
relative to your placement,
okay,
of a point in space. So like the impact, they're both still going 186,000 miles a second or whatever. When they collide, I'm sure there's some sort of, there's the force involved, right? But like any sort of matter or energy ejected from that collision can't go faster, theoretically.
So what about this? Okay, hold on. I got another one. What happens if you're traveling at the speed of light and then you shine a flashlight? Does the light just like pile up against the flashlight? Or does it actually
go anywhere? It would probably just glow.
So
and you wouldn't even see it. And again, you'd have to be
behind it, right? You'd have to be behind it to see the light. But if you're ahead of it, you'd never see it.
Someone from the side would see nothing. You'd be red shifted out of existence. But then say you were coming at me at the speed of light and you turned on a flashlight, you wouldn't see any difference. I would think.
Right, because the light's still got to get to you, and the light coming from you're already going at the speed of light. So yeah, so I guess it'd be the same as like breaking the sound barrier, right? Just much faster. It's like once you break the sound barrier, all the sound just piles up at that point and creates a lot of chaos.
So? Yeah,
because I've always wondered about that. I'm like, okay, if you're traveling at the speed of light and then you chuck a rock as hard as you can, technically that rock's going faster than the speed of light, but then you'd be breaking the laws of the universe. So would you not be able to throw that rock? Would that rock literally just be stuck there and you're like, Can't go any faster.
Well, okay, so now you're talking about like in order to get up to that speed, you couldn't have any sort of resistance. So there's nothing, you're not moving against the air to throw the ball. You'd
be in a vacuum.
Yeah, so like, I mean,
but if you threw that ball, it would be moving through the universe faster than the speed of light, because the light would be stuck here.
Down.
I'm like trying to figure out how this works. My brain is like taking a major shit here. Like somebody said, it threw an exception.
Yeah, right. Blue screen, the universe.
Malformed question. Your brain has exploded. Yeah, I've always thought about that because, the photon is massless argument, I think, has kind of been put to bed a little bit. Because a photon, they found the Higgs boson, which actually like adds some credence to a photon having some kind of mass. Like, I'm pretty sure that's how it worked, wasn't it? Like, I thought the whole point of finding the Higgs boson was to explain why light doesn't have mass or perceivable mass. And then they figured out, well, if the Higgs boson exists, then it technically has mass. It just doesn't exist long enough for us to measure it. Or some shit like that.
Speed increases, mass increases, thus the need for... So, yeah, there'd be no way to...
Like, I couldn't throw the rock. I mean, first I'd probably just be vaporized or whatever, but I wouldn't be able to throw the rock because I'd already be at, like, there'd be not enough energy. Like, the energy would be completely exhausted at that point.
So, yeah, so we start getting into, like, weird time dilation stuff at the closer you get to the speed of light. So,
did you see the test they did with the satellite in orbit? They were able to create a clock that was so precise that they put the sister clock in orbit and a clock back here on Earth, and they could actually see the time dilation in, like, nanoseconds or billionths or trillionths of a second. They could see the difference in time between the two.
GPS satellites are high enough above the Earth that they have to account for time dilation.
That's
because
crazy.
Time is slower down here than it is up there. Yeah, and so they have to account for that so that you can get the signal synchronization and stuff.
Yeah, because I think Chris Hadfield or something said how many milliseconds older he was being on the International Space Station versus being on Earth. Like, that was one of the questions he got asked because of the time dilation effect. But it was, like, insignificant, right? It's like in your entire lifetime, it's, like, not even a second. Oh. It's like millionths of a second or something.
From leap years and stuff.
Exactly. Hey, Bazingas, thank you for another $5. Like, you really needed to super chat more, bro.
There's a question?
He said, whose beard is larger, yours or Bearded Hardware's? Do you know Bearded Hardware?
Let's see. Who's Bearded Hardware?
Go look him up, man.
That sounds familiar. Actually, I think he recently started following me on Twitter.
Well, all you beard guys stick together. You guys are, like, literally like a biker gang. LJC,
Let's look at this guy.
When your knowledge of physics is basic as fuck, listen to this convo like, I don't fucking know. No, dude, I feel the same way. It's like I know enough to ask a question. That's all I do. I don't know enough to answer the questions. I just know enough to answer the question. And I always like to think of stuff that doesn't make sense, right? Because that's where you find, like, the meat and potatoes of a question. It's like, don't analyze the shit you know. Analyze the stuff you don't know. It's like, okay, if you know what the speed of light is, then what can travel faster than the speed of light? And if the answer is nothing can travel at the faster than the speed of light, then you're like, well, what happens if you're going the speed of light and you fucking chuck a baseball? Like, what happens, right?
Yeah, the physics breaks down.
Yeah, and then the guy's like scratching his head and he's like, oh. Because if the ship's traveling at the speed of light and you're inside of the ship and you throw the ball to somebody else inside of the ship, technically that would be faster than the speed of light if you're throwing it into the direction of travel. So how does that work? Because you're still in the ship and the ship's traveling at the speed of light. I think the answer is you technically couldn't. I don't think that something with mass you could actually accelerate to the speed of light. I think you get close to it, but I don't think you'd be allowed to actually hit it.
Oh.
That's
Alex,
my guess. What is the light disk around a black hole called? I think it's called the Event Horizon, isn't it?
No. It's the accretion disk. That's the word.
Accretion disk. I heard that in the Star Trek episode.
The Event Horizon's. I want to say inside that circle of light, because inside of that the light isn't escaping. The ring is your last chance. That's still light escaping out.
Oh, that's like the edge of where light can still escape, and then after that, it sucks.
That's why you can still see it. That, and it's probably a good portion of that is also probably light being bent around the hole. It's a hole itself. But to answer about bearded hardware guy, I think his is technically longer, but his is also straighter. If I were to straighten mine out, like with a flat iron or something, I think we'd be very close, within a half an inch of each other.
So you got the bushy factor?
Very much straighter than mine. Mine is very, very wiry and curly. His is way straighter than mine.
Let's see. What do
So
we got?
technically longer, but probably equal mass.
Oh, somebody corrected me. Chris Hadfield was technically younger. He wasn't older. He was younger by like a small degree. I just remember watching a YouTube. I used to watch all the Chris Hadfield videos because I got a kick out of seeing how they do shit in space, like brushing their teeth and how they eat and how they take a dump. They literally did an episode on that, dude. A female astronaut. She didn't actually do it, but she explained like how to take a shit in space, and it was the funniest thing ever. I fucking loved it. Your thoughts on 5G and free Pornhub Premium? 5G is awesome, and Pornhub Premium is awesome. I think they're both awesome.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, right.
So
on.
shout out to Pornhub for keeping people in their houses. Like, you don't want people running out in the streets. Like, keep them at home in front of their screen.
What causes a black hole to be relatively flat and not a sphere? Probably our perception of it. From the limited knowledge I have on how the fabric of space-time works, the actual object that's creating the black hole is so incredibly dense that it is warping. Like, if you think about it like a trampoline, or like a you know, like a sheet pulled really tight. It's and you pinch the stretchy sheet and you pull it way down. What we can see, right, and you're looking at the edge. Yep. What we can see of the black hole is flat because it's like way deep down inside of it. The object itself is probably perfectly spherical.
Yeah, I'm thinking that it's you can see the edge. The reason you can see the lighting around the edge is because it's horizontal to your point of view, regardless of you looking at a 3D object. Yeah. So like if you shined a flashlight behind it, you moved around it, you would only see the light around the edge because it is eventually grabbing that light and pulling it back in, but it's at least visible. Like enough of it's escaping right there that it's visible around the edge. But I don't really know. But I mean, it's basically a collapsed star, right? I mean, a black hole is just a huge like mass in a small area, and it's creating a giant gravity well, sucking everything into it. I mean, there's nothing to hold about it. If you go into a black hole, you're just gonna fucking get sucked in and crushed into the mass. Like you're not gonna go through a wormhole and like end up somewhere else. Although you might get to find out what light speed is like for a moment.
You'd see lots of light all over because of the accretion disk. Oh, okay. So like, yeah, you'd probably, okay. So yeah, based off what I just said, you'd probably see more of a dome of light just outside of the event horizon, but we actually see just a disk because of the spin. Maybe that would make sense. Yeah, because like the whirlpool kind of thing.
Bazingas, thank you for the $5. Said inside of every black hole is a small person looking for a circuit breaker. He just wants to turn that bitch back on. Just use the flat Earth logic. Dude, it's flat, bro. Yeah, right. It's flat, and somebody spray painted, and the government spray painted it black because they want to convince us of something that isn't true, even though it doesn't benefit them at all.
Flat hole theory.
Flat hole theory. I'm gonna start spreading that hashtag flat hole theory. That's funny. There's supermassive black holes at the center of galaxies. Yeah. Oh, yeah. The size can be huge, but I'm talking relative to its pull. Like, so the mass, it can be giant. There could be a black hole that's the size of our entire solar system, but the mass of it would be way, way more dense than anything that we would see as an object that size. So, but it could also be a small. Like, there could be a small black hole too, right? It just has to have enough mass to suck in light to be classified as a black hole, right?
Well, I mean, if there are supermassive black holes, then that would lead one to believe that there are ultra tiny black holes.
Because there's got to be, you have to believe that there's elements out there because we create new elements all the time, like the undesignated elements, and sometimes they even show up on the periodic table if we can make them and keep them stable for any period of time. But it's like you have to imagine that at the end of the universe there has to be some elements that we haven't discovered that are like fucking 1,000,000 times heavier than lead, for instance, per gram.
Sure.
You know, and then think if that piles together into a pure sphere, it's like maybe you could get something the size of a bowling ball that has enough gravity well to pull in like a solar system, you know, or pull in light.
That's the thing. Is like I think what makes it a black hole is the mass. You know, like you were saying, it's the, Well, no matter what its size is, it has to be comprised of something that has enough mass to pull in light. And the question is, like, how much mass does it take to create enough gravity to pull light? Because they can bend light. Like, I've seen them do experiments in labs before where they can, like, redirect light using just the gravitational pull of the Earth itself. Like, they can measure the diffraction of a laser, like a really highly intense laser. So you'd imagine it's just the denser something is. But I wonder, like, what
or just sheer size, right? It doesn't even have to. It could be a light element like helium. If there's enough of it in one area and it becomes heavier and heavier and heavier, and the core is going to keep getting more pressurized and more pressurized, it's going to start creating other heavy elements.
It's not physical size.
Right.
It's not the amount of space the thing takes up.
Correct.
It's the amount of material
in that space.
In one particular space.
And then you could start out with something like helium, right? But helium, as it presses in, it's going to start creating other elements, right? Because you're going to create fusion from the heat of the pressure. Right. So the more that you bring in, you're basically creating a forge, and the bigger the object is, well, not necessarily whatever it's comprised of, the lighter layers are going to be on the outside, just like they'd float density, right? And it's going to press them in, and the heavier shit's going to get created and sink and sink and sink until you have a core that is so fucking dense that it just compresses everything into it, like a can sucking all the air out of it. Hey, what's up, Lori? GTPC Gaming said black hole is definitely something that grew in mass, so much that Schwarzschild radius grew. I don't even know what the hell is that.
Radius of the physical object.
So I'm guessing maybe that's the radius at which light is trapped.
Strong force, finally crossover gravity. Called fusion.
We need to figure out how to create anti-gravity. Like, I know it doesn't fit with physics, but I'm like, if you can take an element and you can compress it into a heavier element, like if you can take an element and figure out how to get it hot enough that you can start like creating heavier elements and heavier elements, couldn't you create an anti-gravity engine that's just literally sucking in air and compressing it like infinitely until you end up with like a fucking marble that's as dense as the Earth, and then you got artificial gravity?
Wouldn't antimatter have anti-gravity?
Ooh. Maybe matter pulls and antimatter pushes. That would be interesting.
If gravity is a result of mass, of a great deal of concentration of matter, would not a collection of antimatter have anti-gravity?
It could. I don't know.
That's totally bonkers.
Somebody needs to build another larger hadron collider to figure that one out.
What did the Russians use to write in space?
A pencil.
The same thing everybody else does. No, we talked about that before, like on episode 3.
Oh yeah, they couldn't because the graphite gets stuck in shit, right?
The graphite, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I'm sure they used them for on a few missions or something, but eventually everybody started using the same pen.
Is it a Bic? I wonder if it's like a name company like Bic or something that made it.
We've been over this. Which
one is it? Which company is it? Are you looking it up?
The space pen thing? Yeah, I don't recall.
Who makes the pen that's used in space?
Who originally made the space pen?
Let's see. Are you going to show up to Verf tonight? Probably not Last Hand. I thought about it. I've been streaming for 3 days in a row, and then I got to do another stream tomorrow I have to do a stream tomorrow and then do a stream on Monday so that I can skip Tuesday because I have an appointment on Tuesday. And because of that, I just don't want to blow out my vocal cords too much.
It was Fisher.
Fisher did it?
The Fisher,
like the FISCHER or whatever. Fisher.
No,
weird spelling.
Like
Fisher Price.
I'm fishing. Yeah.
Oh, weird.
but Fisher pen.
I never would have guessed that. Sorry, I missed one earlier. Hold on, where'd it go?
Paul C. Fisher.
Wow.
He invented the Fisher space pen.
Now we know. Kristen Nana said, let's see here. 10 PLN said, I'm on a dopamine detox. Try, it's very progressive. Why would you want to detox from dopamine? Dopamine's awesome.
Yeah, that sucks.
Fucking love dopamine. Dopamine's my jam. Like, without dopamine, you can't be happy. And if you can't be happy, you can't, I don't know. There's a lot of shit that comes with happiness. I mean, a dopamine detox, that means you're definitely not using your Pornhub premium account. Right? Am I right? More Adderall, bro. Actually, I don't know. Does Adderall give you a dopamine boost? I know oxycodone does, but I don't think Adderall does. I think Adderall works on other shit. I don't know. Let's see.
A nice little update on that. I got some hardcore testing to do on my ADHD.
Oh yeah?
They're bringing me in. They're telling me it's gonna be like 3.5 hours.
Oh, good. So you're finally gonna get diagnosed.
I hope so.
They're gonna tell you you're a little derpy and give you some meds. Oh, Adderall. God, I feel dumb now. Adderall works by raising the proportions of dopamine and neuroepinephrine in the brain. Okay, no. So it's a stimulant. Of course, a stimulant gives you a dopamine boost. Duh. Man, I am off my game today, man. I honestly, last night, I thought I broke my back. I almost had to go to the frickin' hospital, and I did not want to do that. But I'm glad I went to sleep. I woke up, and somehow my back is just hurting a little today. But, like, last night, I barely could walk, dude. It was so freaking agonizing. I couldn't even get to sleep. I was just laying there in bed, like, tossing and turning for hours. It sucked. But, and I didn't do anything yesterday. I was just sitting in my chair for, like, 6 hours, and then I got up out of my chair, and my back's like, fat people problems, right? Am I right? I know, I should know that, ST. But it's better when I don't know things. It's better when I don't know things, because then I get to discover them, and it's fantastic. But I actually did know that one. I just wasn't thinking. Last Hand said I need more meth. I absolutely do. I'm actually going to show this one, even though it's an email address, but it's funny. He's like, do you think this is a legit email address? 3C97IMAJG.
Years.
Oh my god!
Years.
Oh, they're not even trying at that point.
It should have been caught by your spam filter. Like,
Shit.
what is that?
Yeah, fire Gmail if they let that shit through. That's like, there should be a regular expression that like explicitly removes that out of circulation.
Terrible.
That is
He's gonna come back and be like, "That's my mom's email address."
Yeah, sitting puts a lot of pressure on your back. I think that's probably it. I just sat for 6 hours in this chair. This chair actually isn't the most comfortable chair on earth. It's not designed to be sit in for like 6 to 9 hours a day continuously.
You need the Emperor workstation, my guy.
Oh, is that the one where you're like it leans back?
Shit out.
All right, let's see that.
Bro.
Emperor workstation. All right, who makes this?
Check that bad boy. So I think it's MSI has one like this too. That was floating around for I don't know, sometime last year. This is the original.
I saw this at CES. Yeah,
this shit is cool AF. I want one super bad.
Yeah, I saw this one at CES. Like the chair can actually like tilt back too, right?
Yeah. It puts you into a 0G configuration.
I sat in one of these when I was at CES a couple of years ago, and I was like, this is badass. And like the keyboard like slides over in front of you, and you got the mouse, and the mouse has like a magnetized tray so it doesn't slide off. Like you can just put the mouse on the mat and it just stays there.
Yeah, it's
super
cool.
Got a footrest and everything, man. How much do these things cost?
About $6,000.
Oh Jesus. Okay, well at least at $6,000 it's probably built. The one I sat in wasn't $6,000, so I think it was like the Chinese knockoff of this.
Is Microsoft haunted? Yes.
Dude, I want one of these now. I might have to reach out to this company.
Super bad. It'll do like they've upgraded since I since I very first started looking at them.
Yep.
It can handle like 6 monitors now. Originally it maxed out at 3 32s. Which I think that would be my configuration, would be like 3 36-inch monitors.
Yeah.
Horizontal.
Dude, why is the builder taking so long to open? This is the slowest website ever.
It's Canadian. Cut them some slack.
Well, if it's Canadian, at least we know it'll be like decently built. Let's see where to buy. Like who sells? Do they have resellers for this thing? My God.
I think there are a couple US. There's like showrooms or something you can go to.
Dude, like I want one. This is cool. Dude, and now like clear out your whole room and just put it in the center of the room. So like you walk into the room and it's all decorated around. Then in the center of the room you just have this. Like
that's it.
People walk in, you just got your VR helmet on. You're all like going lawnmower man.
It's super cool. I want one super bad.
Oh shit! Newegg sells them.
Garage.
So Newegg sells them. Overclockers UK sells them. Case King sells them. Whoever the fuck that is.
So
I got the builder. Okay, English.
$53.30.
English USD. Okay, I'm gonna start building my workstation here. Okay, so do I want Okay, I can pick a color. I can pick accents, trims. Oh wow! So you can like color this whole thing, dude. This is like super custom.
They're Alpine white, the standard Alpine white, super fresh. I don't need any dome
lumbar heat
accent lights. Oh yeah,
I can add lumbar heat and put a car seat in it. Oh my god, dude. Okay, I want a leg rest.
RGB.
Okay, I'm adding the RGBs. Lights. I'm adding the 5.1 plus subwoofer.
Seating.
I'm adding the 6-screen configuration.
Oh yeah, the Iron Horse 24/7 seat because it's built for intensive environments. Tuscany leather.
Yeah. I'm adding all DisplayPort, integrated USB 3 hub. Dude, I want to see. This is going to be like $14 million.
Default white.
Adding all the trays.
Default white's fine.
Okay, I'm adding a logo.
No audio.
Laser cut logo and seat embroidery. I'm adding all of it. Okay, what's my total cost? Whoa! $14,710 as standard.
It out, right? Yeah.
I didn't even have the accent lights. Hold on. Hold on, I'm gonna see if I can max this fucker out. Okay.
Let's see. We'll go
So,
standard seat.
Domed
Standard
accents.
seat.
Okay, I'm adding domed accents. I'm gonna
I
add.
don't need.
Carbon
need
black.
accents.
What's a more expensive color? Here, let's go with glossy red. Okay, how much is this bitch gonna cost me now? Okay, Okay, so fully equipped with everything maxed out, $17,150 US.
Is that with the maximum monitor setup and everything?
Yes, that's with 6 monitors. That's with the subwoofer setup. That's with custom gloss car paint.
Whoa.
My God,
I don't
bro.
need a USB hub.
Now the question is it okay? It does come with the monitors though. Okay, that's good. So at least it comes with the monitors. Like I thought it might come configured to accept the monitors, but this is like all in. Like this shows up. It's got all the monitors. Everything's
Will actually
wired.
have monitors installed. I thought. Yeah, I thought I was putting my own in. Oh,
Yes.
I don't know that I want their monitors.
Yeah, maybe I
like,
don't.
What if they give me shitty monitors?
They even let you like pick how they're connected too. Like when you click the monitors, like you can select whether you want them to be like You can select TB, Thunderbolt, DVI, DP, or DisplayPort or HDMI.
Well, probably DisplayPort across the board.
And they'll pre-wire it with whatever cables you want. See, oh shit, can you add them all? Oh, you can only add one on each monitor. Okay, dude, $17,150. That is just fucking ludicrous.
Wow. For the setup that I would actually legitimately buy, $56.75.
Okay, all right. So yeah, as long as you don't go too crazy with the aftermarket shit, which you can add yourself. I mean, you can put fucking light accents and shit on it.
Like, do I need to spend $175 for a USB hub? I can just like Velcro one to the top.
Hey, Bazingas, can you just super chat us? I don't know, like $32,000 so we can get 2 like pimped out rigs. Come on, bro.
Yeah.
Come on. You know you want to. We love Bazingas, man. He comes in here and makes our day every time. Last Hand said I posted an Acer version, off topic. Acer version of what? Oh, the Predator thing.
Oh, yeah. That's what it was. Acer did one very similar. Yeah. But theirs is like 10 grand to start. It comes with the PC, I think.
Yeah, and they probably equip it with their own in-house screen, right? The Predator screen, I'm guessing. So
yeah, it's all jacked up on their stuff.
Dude, that would be cool to have 6 like 144 hertz or 120 hertz 4K panels.
So good.
Like, does it come with like hand sanitizers and shit? Because I'll need it after sitting in that thing. Does it come with a waste basket? Like on the side, it pops out. It's like motorized. Insert tissues here. My God, dude. I would never leave that. If I owned that, I would just live in it. It'd literally be like Wally. I would literally just be like, I'm already almost there. I got the physique for it. So I'd just be like,
that's it.
I take a split keyboard and put it on both like things. So I'm just sitting back like, little mouse action. Man, no, fuck mouse. Eye tracker. Get that eye tracker thing like Zachariah's got. Be like,
am I gonna have to get real good at winking to fire? Like you just left blink all the time.
Dude, have you seen how good eye tracking is now? So there's this eye track. I wish I knew the company. I think is it Leap Magic or something like that. They make an eye tracker. It's a bar you put under your monitor. You just set it on your desk under your monitor, and it is so precise that if you look at an icon on your desktop, like a little icon like this, it puts the mouse right in the middle of it. And if you move your vision anywhere, it is right exactly at the pixel you're looking at. It is that fucking precise. And I don't know how. Wow. I really don't know how, because your eyes movement is so subtle. I don't know how they amplify that without getting like shitloads of jitter and stuff. Like you'd think it'd be like all over the place, but no, it's like dead precise. I even went over to his house and played a game. We were playing a game where it's like you have to run to places and duck and cover. And you just look where you want to. You just look where you want to duck and cover, and on the screen, it's like it selects the area that you're looking at, and then you just push the button and it goes to it. So you're literally just playing the game and shooting at people, and you're like run for cover. And you just like look at the place on the screen where you want to run for cover and push the button, and it does it. And I was like, this is fucking awesome. I really want to get one. I really do want to get one, but it's like I just haven't been able to like think about what I'd do with it. But now that I think about it, like I could probably like find some way to integrate that into like auto hotkey or OBS or something like that, where I could do scene switching with eye movements. How cool would that be? Like you don't even you're like don't even need the Stream Deck. You're just like, and it's like click 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 click. Like you look at the camera. Like if you just move your eyes and look at a camera, it just automatically switches to that camera. How cool would that be, right? Like you're just like you look up here, it's that camera. You look down here, it's this camera. You don't have to do anything. I kind of want to do that now.
I feel like to get it to change cameras, you could probably get away with some sort of like facial recognition, where like, it notices that it's the front of your face rather than the side, and so it'll, switch to that one as soon as it within a 85% possibility of it being your front face.
Hey, Christopher King, thank you for becoming a channel member, my friend.
Thank you.
The Tobii eye tracker isn't the one that the one Zachariah had. I think was like $150. It wasn't like crazy. It wasn't like the shit that's like equipped on Stephen Hawking's chair. Hey, Toothless, thank you for the 100 rupees. He said, I have 32-inch LCD LG Smart TV. Can I use it for a PC for 10 to 14 hours nonstop? Does my TV can handle it okay? Yeah, just fine.
Sure.
TVs are actually designed to be left on just fucking constantly all the time, as long as you don't cover the vents on the top so the air can freely flow up through them, because they usually use passive air transfer, so it heats up the air, it comes out the top grill, and then it sucks in cool air from the bottom. One thing I do that I recommend is get yourself one of these cheap, like little $7 USB Arctic fans and plug it into the USB on the TV and just point it into one of the grills to the electronic box.
Very smart.
I do that with all my TVs, all my monitors, and everything, and it extends the life of them like dramatically. Even on my routers, I had 2 routers fail. What do you do?
I have a 39-inch LG TV that is 7 years old now. Six or 7 years old.
Still kicking.
Works great.
I have a first generation LCD Samsung TV that I paid like $3,000 for back when it first came out, and that was at Costco. That was Costco price.
Wow.
And I got that thing, I want to say, let's see, did I get that in 2000? Way before Xander. I think it was 2006 or 2007 I got that screen. I used it as a computer monitor for like 2 years, and then I took it down and I installed it in the living room. It is still in the living room today, and it's so old that the entire plastic ring around the outside is delaminating from the screen, and the screen still looks brand new. Wow. Like literally the case is like decomposing around the television and the glue is failing on everything. Yet it still works just like it's never had a problem. It still looks like that. It's just as bright as the day I got it.
Another new member, Jay Deman. Thank you for joining the crew.
Thank you, sir.
For showing your support. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Oh, here it is. Okay, so wait. Maybe it was a Tobii eye tracker. Oh, never mind. I was looking at like the old school Tobii eye trackers, the professional ones. Yeah, no, this is exactly what Zachariah has. So yeah, they're $229. They're actually fairly well reviewed. But yeah, the eye tracking is like phenomenally good. Just the thing I like about it is like a mouse can be a little bit cumbersome and slow at certain things, and the eye tracker can actually help with that. Like even if you're not disabled and you don't physically need one, there's a lot to be said for an eye tracker that's that. But it's way more precise than you're thinking. Like the first time I used it, I was taken back, dude. At like where the mouse cursor would go, exactly where I was looking. Like even just slight movements, like even looking at an icon on a huge screen and then like looking over one icon, the mouse is like doot, 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 like exactly as you're looking at them. I'm like, oh my God, this is fucking the coolest thing ever. Hey, John, thank you for the $2. He said, is it true Walmart and VT won't sell plant seeds? Fuck, I don't even, what?
What?
Walmart and VT won't sell plant seeds. Where's VT? I don't know. I don't know
what VT is. What are you talking about? They won't sell plant seeds.
Okay,
I could buy plants at Home Depot. That's weird.
I didn't know you could buy seeds at Walmart, like at all. Like
flowers and vegetables and stuff, gardening shit.
I suppose. James Janus said, so mobile devices and dev is future. Problem is most apps unusable due to ads every 3 seconds or tons of microtransitions. Stance on this? I think you asked the exact same question last time, didn't you? What do you think the remedy should be?
He has been trying to ask this one for a bit.
Yeah, let's go ahead and hit that one.
Well, let's see. Ads every 3 seconds sucks. But that's the value exchange that has to happen for free apps.
Yep. Vermont.
Sorry,
okay, VT is Vermont.
That sucks.
No, I actually agree with that.
Not so bad for single player experiences. I don't give a shit if you want to spend money to play by yourself and have that advanced. It's the market. People pay. I mean, it's like gambling or anything else that requires some sort of currency exchange. It's like if people really, really, really didn't like it, then they would stop doing it.
That's true. Like, if it wasn't profitable, it wouldn't be happening. Like, there's no reason to continue something if you don't make money.
Yeah, if there's money to be made, people are going to do it. You don't have to. You can market and monetize the apps that you create any way that you like. That's a moral question that you'll have to look at yourself. Don't care. I just don't use apps that annoy the shit out of me. I have a few free apps that I'm okay with the ads. I'll deliberately watch the video to get a little bonus and stuff. Like, I'm okay with it. I know it was free to download. if it's super annoying or I get tired of seeing the ads, I'll pay the $1 or $2 or whatever. I've done that for a couple games as well. Good for them. It's enough, hey man, people got to make a living.
At the end of the day, if you don't like something, don't support it. And if you do like it, support it. And then just let the business ethics and everything work themselves out. Yeah. I mean, that's the end of the day, right? If enough people don't like it, they'll stop doing it. But if you think, oh my God, they're still doing it, even though I hate it, this is stupid, you have to realize they're making money, and there's a lot of people that do like it and do accept it. And even if they don't like it, they're still playing it, and playing it is still more important to them than not having the ads. It's just like people that play like Grand Theft Auto today and like go buy the shark cards and shit. I still don't understand that. Like, why the fuck are all these people pumping all this money in this game's like 8 years old, playing campaign through 1,000 times? Then they get banned for like stupid shit, but they'll go spend all this money like buy in-game shit that doesn't really do anything. I never understood that, but there's people that quite enjoy it. It's a social thing for them. That's their thing that they do. That's their vice. I know a guy that spent $10,000. I know a personal good friend of mine who has spent $10,000 on Clash of Clans. And just because that's his stress relief. That's his stress ball.
It sounds crazy.
It does.
Oh my God, this guy paid 10, he dropped 10 G's
for
one over what span of time?
Probably like a year.
A year?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, that still sounds like a lot. 10 grand.
Yeah, but we're talking about somebody who makes six figures, like upper six
that's
figures.
a significant portion of my yearly take home.
Correct.
However, A, it's a drop in the bucket for him.
Yep.
B, as a proportion to income, I probably spend about that much on all of my collective entertainment avenues.
Yep.
We're talking, going out to eat, going out to video or, to movies. I would go to shows sometimes or vacations and things like that. And as a percentage of my income, probably about the same that he dropped or actually he probably is overbalanced for himself because he makes more, but still as a percentage of entertainment cost, probably similar. So whatever, spend extravagantly on the things you love and and be frugal to death on the things that don't matter to you.
No, that's true. Somebody said that targeting kids that are spending this money. That first off, like parents shouldn't be allowing their kids to have access to that money. If they're able to spend that money in the first place, that's the parents' fault. That's not the gaming company's fault. That's the parents' fault for one, letting them play the game. Two, giving them an avenue to actually spend money in the game. You can't send them cash. You're not mailing them cash from grandma in a card. It's like these are kids that have access to credit cards, and if they're stealing their parents' credit cards, that's the parents' problem. The parents need to start actually beating the shit out of their kids and say, knock it off.
It's not an excuse anymore. There are tools in place. It was a problem in 2008.
Be like,
it was a problem.
Stop doing that.
On. But because of the market, because of the backlash of my kid was able to get, I have my iTunes account attached to, and they spent so much money on Candy Crush or blah blah blah. There are tools. Come on, parents don't know better. They have no idea. They should be educated. That's their problem.
That's their problem. Parents, if you don't know what your child's doing, you are a shitty fucking parent. And I will stand on my hands. Oh, but I gotta work and I can't always watch my kid. You pick the people that watch your kid, and if those people are fucking incompetent, that's your fault for hiring them. Your parent, if you're not going to school meeting the teachers, and the teachers are somehow or the other kids are putting ideas in your kid's head, and you're not involved in their life enough to know what's going on, to keep an eye on them, to put a password on the router and shit, that is your fucking problem as a parent. If you try to blame your kid for doing something like, I didn't know he did that. No, fuck you. Take responsibility. You fucking didn't pull out. Take care of that child. Okay, that's my rant. I'm a parent.
Yeah,
so
I'm the same. I'm the same way. It drives me nuts. As a kid, my mom bought me mature rated games before I was 18.
Same here.
Okay,
yeah. I played AuxxZillary when I was like 12.
That's not the problem. My mom knew enough about who I was as a person and the content that I consumed that she was okay with it. She understood that I didn't think this was real stuff. I'm not becoming a sociopath or anything. It's not the game. It's not the rock and roll music. It's not horror movies. It's people, the parents who got in an uproar about Call of Duty or GTA. I didn't know that GTA was a murder simulator. I would have never bought this for poor little Johnny. Then you didn't pay attention.
GTPC Gaming said this is literally every parent. Literally no parent knows what their kids are doing. You're full of fucking shit. I have a 10-year-old son, and you know what? I know every fucking thing he's doing at any point in time. He doesn't touch the internet without me knowing what he's doing.
I can see where there becomes a point where you kind of lose grip on that. a little bit, like the teenager that's in my life, right? She goes off to the park and hangs out with her friends and stuff. I don't have a fucking drone following her and watching every movement she makes when she's off with her friends and stuff. My mom couldn't follow me everywhere and know every single thing that I was doing after a certain point, but at a certain point you have to trust that you have done a good job in creating a decent human being and that they are going to make good choices.
It's funny. So Blink made me laugh. He's like, how much did you rack up in your mom's phone bill calling 900 numbers? I was like, no, I use stolen credit cards. So I was like, touche, point taken.
Right.
But my parents literally had no fucking clue what I was doing. They were drug and alcohol addicts, so it kind of proves my point. Like, they were not involved in my life, therefore I did a lot of shit. I freaked, I hacked, I broke all kinds of fucking laws, I did all kinds of shit I wasn't supposed to do. And well, my parents were like fucking drug runners, so they it's like, so no, you're kind of proving my point. GT said, well, you're very tech savvy. Remember that you are a very specific point of view. Remember that you have a very specific point of view. Yeah, I do have a specific point of view, and that is if you're going to make a child, you need to fucking understand what their capabilities are. If your kid has enough alone time that he can hack an internet connection, log in, get a mobile device, and go out on the internet and spend a bunch of money, that is your fucking fault as a parent for enabling them to have that window. Xander's devices aren't internet connected. He has huge blocks on him. There's very little that he can do. And if we catch him going outside of those lines, you know what we do as parents? We correct it. We know what's going on. If you say I'm a tech savvy person, guess what? As a parent, you can be a tech savvy person too. Because if you know technology is around and your kids have access to it, you should probably investigate that shit, right?
There's no excuse
Anymore.
anymore. There is no excuse anymore. If you are at all curious about anything,
I know, I fucking so many scapegoats every day today, and I hear it every day. Doesn't matter if it's religion, doesn't matter if it's politics. Everybody has some fucking excuses. Like, I can relieve myself of all fucking guilt and circumstance by just blaming this person. No. And it's like, no, your kid, you do not get that. When you create a kid, if your kid goes out and kills another motherfucker, you know whose fault it is? Yours. You raised that child. You allowed them to get to that point where they could go kill another human being. You can't go, oh, I didn't know Timmy was capable of it. That's the fucking problem. You didn't know your kid was capable of it because you're not in their goddamn lives. Be in your kids' lives. That's what I want your takeaway from the stream. If you're going to make a kid and you're not going to pull out, raise the kid, teach the kid, give them a moral compass, and then if they decide when they grow up they go on a fucking rampage and blow everything up, you know what? Then you can be like, okay, I did the best I could. But no, as a kid, you can't be like, oh, they stole my credit card. Dude, you left your wallet somewhere where they could steal it, and you were careless enough to not fucking teach them right and wrong. Okay? Yeah. And if somebody else influenced them, you're responsible for that too, because you allowed that interaction to happen. You control, when your kid goes to school, you can go get to know the teacher, you can go talk to the teacher, you can figure out if there's troublemakers in the class. There's all kinds of shit we have to do with Xander. Trust me. You can do it. It's parents are checking out, and they're like, school, raise my child. TV, raise my child. I'm going to be over here. And when you do that, you don't get to shirk responsibility for that. Yeah. I'm responsible for everything my son does. My son's done a couple things at school that were questionable, and I had to get involved, and I was like, I had to take responsibility for that shit and be like, you know what? Me and my son have fart jokes all the time. So he goes to school and starts fucking making fart jokes all the time. The teacher's like, this kid cannot get away from telling fart jokes. And I'm like, that's on me. That is on me. I'm going to work with him and fix that. And we did. Well, kind of. He still likes the fart jokes, but he's better at it.
That's a big one. This is irritating because like I've bumped into this for a long time. It's just parents who it's willful ignorance. Like there was a comment earlier about like how many parents don't know what a local area network is. They don't have to. No. They don't need to know what a local area network is to know that YouTube has a lot of questionable content out there and to take steps to regulate that kind of consumption. They don't need to know. They don't need to know that when you say Wi-Fi, you're actually connecting to the internet. Right. And it's the same as the cable. Right. They don't need to know that. They just need to know that Wi-Fi is the hose by which the content comes from. They don't need to know what IP protocols are. They don't need to know that stuff. They need to know that there are tools out there that can regulate the consumption of content. How do I stop Timmy? Sorry, Tim, but how do I stop my little kid from watching the Dobre brothers on YouTube? How do I stop my kid from having a Snapchat app on their phone? How do I, like, literally, there is no excuse for not learning the tools that are available to you. Oh my God. I've been saying this since fucking 1998. We are in the middle of an era where the grand sum of human knowledge, the greatest collection of educational and informational is available in the palm of your hand, and you refuse to learn. Fuck you.
Exactly. No, don't be sorry. This is exactly how I feel.
I'm sorry. This drives me up a wall. If you cannot blame Apple for the apps that they allow in their store, you blame yourself for allowing those apps to be downloaded, to have them connected to your credit card. You can't. It is willful ignorance for you to be unable or unwilling to type in, how do I learn this thing?
Exactly.
Whatever that thing may be.
Yeah.
I cannot accept a bury my head in the sand attitude that I didn't know my kid was doing this thing. That is your fault.
That's the problem.
100%.
And you want to know something else? You don't have to know technology. You don't have to know technology. You can use old school methods. You know what you do? You tell your kid not to fucking do shit, and if they do it, you go in the room and you take all their shit out of the room, and you're like, you know what? You're going to see what it's like to live a couple days with nothing. And then maybe you'll not do it again. And I've done that to Xander like 2 or 3 times. I don't have to do that ever again because he knows.
And the thing is, though, so my mom tried to do that shit with me, and which was fine, great, good for her. She would take my keyboard, she would take my power cables from my computer because she wasn't going to lug the box downstairs or something.
Yeah, my parents did the same thing. They like locked the front of it and like pull the power cable.
Fine, I would read. Like, you couldn't punish me with boredom.
Yeah.
That wasn't a thing that worked. That's not how kids work. I used to be a kid. You can't tell me that's not how kids work. I mean, actually, hold on. I take that back. That was a little spicy. That comment may have been directed towards someone else. So let me walk that back a little bit. I apologize for being a little spicy with that, but like,
I like spicy, Houston. It's nice.
It does work because I have a 9-year-old in my life, and she flips her shit when she gets her phone taken away from her and it's not even.
You know what that tells you as a parent, though?
Violations.
Like, you know what that tells you as a parent when they flip their shit when you take something away? It means you took the right fucking thing away, dude. You are doing it right. That is the best indicator. If you take shit away from them and they're like, "Oh, big deal, take it, I don't care," then you need to take more shit until they are like fucking in tears, going, "Oh my god, don't take that away." That's usually like the Xbox or the TV.
So here's a comment that I take umbrage with. The days of good parenting skills are long gone nowadays. Nowadays, it really is sad. Good parenting skills that used to be good parenting skills don't apply anymore. The landscape has changed.
Got to adjust with the world.
Good parenting skills have to adjust to the world. Yeah, like, you know, spankings and stuff. Hey, it worked for me. I don't think that is the right way to go anymore.
No, I think we live in a new world now. Like, it's not necessary, but when I was young, it was necessary, right? Because it's like you keep doing shit and there was nothing to take away because I'd go outside and play with sticks and like throw shit through windows.
Yeah, like it's you have to evolve. You have to change the punishments that worked for me as a kid. One, I don't want to use those tools with the children that are in my life, though they were effective.
I've never had to spank Xander once in his life. I have always found a way to punish him without having to do anything.
Yeah, I don't think it's necessary anymore. I also take an angle of the kids that are in my life. They're not stupid, right? I as a kid, I was spoken to and treated like I was dumb, like I didn't know, and there's some to that.
That's why you're so good at trivia today.
It's wisdom. I'm constantly saying to the girls that you aren't stupid, okay? You are inexperienced adults. You have the same ability to understand consequences as I do. You just lack the experience to know beforehand, okay?
Yeah.
Like, you and I'm trying to teach you that this thing, you know, the tone of voice you use, the word. I don't care if you swear around me, but you can't swear around your grandma. Okay, she gets offended. I don't care.
Yeah.
They're just words to me. Like whatever. And learning the context of things, learning that you can't use that tone of voice with me that you can with maybe someone else. Things like that. It's educating them. That has been a big part of my learning as a sort of new parent and coming into this role is like it's finding too for me where a mistake is like intentional and deliberate and that requires punishment, where the difference between those actions and then maybe you legitimately didn't know that this was a bad thing or that this was going to happen, and making it educational. Like, look, you're not in trouble, okay, but you just need to know that what you did was uncool. Don't, like, we need to work on your tone of voice or your actions. Like, it's not okay to do this thing in response to this other thing. We need to work on how you do that. But then if it's deliberate, like, I know you did that on purpose, you know that is a bad thing to do, you know, that, like, yeah. that's been a learning thing for me, which has been kind of fun.
I'm going back and forth with Happy Farang in chat. They're like, my mom hit me once and I hit her twice as hard and she never hit me back. My dad was a psychiatrist, never hit me. I was like, maybe he should have. Maybe your dad should have slapped the ever-living shit out of you, because it sounds like you're a fucking little bitch if you're smacking your mom twice. No, yeah. I am fucking serious here. Like, listen, I don't hit my kid. I don't believe in hitting my kid, but I'm going to tell you right now, if I smacked my mom back when she smacked me for being a bum, my dad would have came home and fucking bludgeoned me. And you know what? Yeah. I would agree with him at that time. I would have agreed him, because you do not fucking beat your mom. Okay?
Yeah, that's not okay.
If she slaps you, you don't fucking, like, hit her twice as hard. Like, and your dad doesn't do nothing about it. One, I don't believe that story. I think you're absolutely full of shit. Because I don't care if your dad's a psychiatrist. He's going to turn into a fucking psychotic if you're beating your mom and he gives even a fuck about her in the world. So, you know what? Just raise your fucking kids. That's all I'm going to say. I raise mine, and when he makes mistakes, you know, we use that as a learning experience. We use that as a time to turn it around. Kids make mistakes. I'm not saying kids don't make mistakes, like you make perfect kids don't. But when they make mistakes, use that opportunity to teach them, to get the most value you possibly can out of that, and turn it around and be like, you know what? They stole my credit card. They spent $500. You know what? I'm going to do $1,000 worth of learning on this kid. And this kid's never going to fucking do that again. And they're going to carry that through their entire life. Why they should never do that again, and they should understand the end of it. You shouldn't just be like, fuck, you stole my credit card, son of a bitch, fuck you, blah, blah, don't ever do that again.
Right. Yeah, I saw this meme on Instagram where it's like it says, like, some parents find out, like, Johnny put a frog in a blender, and then they respond with, well, no iPad at dinner tonight. And again, I think it's one of these things where it's like confirmation bias sort of a thing. We look for the worst parents, the worst results, and point and say, see, this is what's wrong with society. And I genuinely believe that we are not so askew, you know what I mean? And that even if you see it as like an obsession, like current young generations live a great deal of their life on, like, Instagram and Snapchat and things like that.
More than ever.
I don't see that as a problem. I see that as an interesting fact. I see that
it's the new normal.
I agree that it is a thing. I don't see it as a problem. I don't demonize it, and I think in part because I grew up a large part on the internet and have steeped my entire, like, self-awareness in interacting with the internet. But it's become such a commonplace thing that the precautions that I grew up with, the education that I had early on about, look, you need to conduct yourself like an adult because you're dealing with other adults. You can't always trust everyone. In fact, you should always distrust most of the people you interact with online. Strangers are just as untrustworthy on the internet as they are down the street.
Yep.
And I feel like that part has been missed because we've taken for granted the convenience, right? Like you give your 10, 11-year-old a cell phone because it's convenient. Oh, I can just call them up or text them and say, hey, I'm coming to pick you up from school. But we forget that is a connection to the great sum of human knowledge, and there's a lot of weird, scary shit out there. And
Yeah, there is.
We missed the part.
Don't install Tor.
Of educating and taking a certain level of a healthy level of skepticism, and that's what scares me. Is that I'm concerned that the vast majority of the younger generation they haven't learned skepticism enough. They haven't learned to absorb as much information as possible about a particular subject, or that they will latch onto something that feels good or lines up with how they view the world at a young age, and then that's all they're ever exposed to, and that could be wrong, that could be misaligned with the like I imagine if a young person today is exposed to flat earth as an example, early, and it lines up and it makes sense to them, and they agree and they grab onto that, and you know what, this is a cool group of people to be around, and it makes sense, and I think this is the way things are. They haven't learned, or they haven't had it implanted into their head early enough to seek out alternative viewpoints, and they could be led down paths that aren't good.
You know what's a good example of that? And not any specific one, but just organized religion. You notice you just implicitly trust it. Until I was 20, I was Christian. And I understand people that they do that their whole life. I totally get it, and I understand it. But it's like, for me, it's like I never questioned it. I was raised, I was taught from the Bible. I was taught there was a God from a young age. I prayed to God like every night and did my little thing, please God, make my dad not come home drunk and beat my ass. I did all that, and I believed it. I genuinely believed it all the way until I was 20. But it's one of those things where it's like, I didn't even question it. Like, even when I moved out of my parents' house, I didn't question it for like 2 years. I was like, this is just what you do. This is what is real. The sky is blue. The water flows. The water is wet. And so things that you learn as a child stick with you throughout your whole life. Like what you learn in your first, I'll even say 12 years, let's say pre-puberty. The things you learn there are so ingrained in you. That's why kids that learn multiple languages at a young age can speak them all super fluently. There's a lot that you learn as a kid that basically becomes a part of like your core self. Like I'd say your personality. Your personality, as it's going to turn out as an adult, not that it can't change. I'm not saying that it can't change, but I'm saying your base personality. Like, I'm still the jokester and the prankster, giving a little bit of, I'm still the same person I was when I was like 12 years old. Like, all my experiences shaped me into this person. I used to watch a lot of comedy. I thought things were funny. I like making my friends laugh. I was always that guy. I made fun of himself. And so that was kind of like my character that I built to that point. And I carried it through my whole life. But I went through so many stages in those first 12 years. All over the place. Like rat tail and black hair, emo stage. I went through everything, but I settled on I want to be the funny guy. And that was just all the culminated experiences added up to that's what I wanted to be, and that was my core personality. And so if you don't guide your kids and you don't let them find that core personality without a bunch of like really terrible shit, being advantageous to them. If your kid if every day your kid grows up and figures out he can steal a candy bar from the store and not get caught, he's gonna fucking grow up and be like Jewel Heister. Like, it's like if you never learn if you never get caught and you never get punished for it, you're never gonna know the consequence. You're just gonna see it as a free candy bar. I think that same analogy can be applied to anything. Like if you grow up and you never get punished and all your parents do is yell at you when you do something wrong, but you can continue to do that thing and you find more value in doing that thing than getting yelled at, then that yelling means nothing. Parents have to do something. They have to figure out their kids and learn with their kids and find out what works. Yeah. And for some kids it's a lot. Like I'm going to say that, there's some kids it can be a lot. My dad had to, my dad actually wasn't. My mom was the one that was somewhat reasonable growing up. My dad was just fucking, he was just drunk and beat the shit out of me. But my mom, she would only punish me when I hit to a certain, but she'd play psychological games with me. She'd be like, you know what? She's like, I'm going to whoop your ass for doing that. Go out and break a stick off the tree, and I'm going to whoop your ass with that stick. And she's like, if you come back and that stick's too small, I'm going to go grab a bigger stick. And so I'd be outside for like a half an hour trying to pick a stick that wouldn't hurt too much, but wasn't so small she was going to go get a log and beat me with it. And then I'd go in the house, and she'd like lightly hit me like twice with it. But my psychology was so fucked up from having to pick this stick. That was the real punishment. My mom was actually kind of interesting in her application. But the thing is, she rewarded me when I was good, and she punished me when I was bad. And that it doesn't matter how you do those two things. Well, it does nowadays, but it doesn't matter how you do those two things as long as the end result is your kid follows the reward system. Put the cheese where the good actions are. Don't put the cheese where the bad actions are. You end up with a good kid.
Yeah, and like I disagree. The problem is most parents nowadays don't discipline their children. I don't think that's true.
No, they discipline them in a different way, but they absolutely discipline them.
Yeah, again, I think that's a confirmation bias sort of thing. You notice the parents that don't discipline their children. You know, that family that has the little kid running around or banging the table and screaming and throwing shit. You notice them more.
Yeah.
And so it stands out and it sticks in your mind. You don't notice really, and this comes from 20 some years of dealing with people on the internet. For every butthead, for every asshole in a game who griefs, for every butthead on the internet, there are 1,000, 10,000 good people. You just don't notice, because the people who are happy and content and positive and loving and caring and all of that good stuff, they don't make a lot of noise. The negativity is very loud, and that's all you hear, but it does come from a very small segment. It seems like a lot because it's very loud, but honest to goodness, most people out there do care about their kids. If it was true that most parents aren't disciplining their children, it would be chaos and anarchy.
Yeah.
It would be, the schools would be burning down. You'd have murdered teachers or beat up kids, and you do see that. But it is a very small segment of the population. It is very small. Overall, humanity is in the best place it's ever been. Ever. Worldwide, homicide rates are at an all-time low. Even in the United States, we have a crime rate that is equal to what it was in like the 50s or something. Like, it sounds bad. It seems bad because that's what we're being fed all the time. It's very loud. But I honest to goodness believe in the positivity and love and happiness and the general attitude of human beings to just want to be left alone to make their own happiness. That's a big one that I will shout and push on so much. There is a lot of positivity out there. There's a lot of love and caring and hope and goodwill out there. You do have to kind of get under that crust of loud negativity and look for it and pump it up. I cannot stress enough. Please make positivity louder. Shout out the stuff you love. Stop focusing on the stuff you don't.
Yeah, definitely don't be. The one thing I will tell everybody that I've learned just in the last couple of weeks is don't be quiet. Like, don't be quiet. Like it doesn't matter. Like things you like, things you don't like be loud. Be a part of the conversation. Don't just sit back and be an observer. Like, participate in the human experiment.
Absolutely share the stuff you love.
You made an interesting point earlier when you were talking about, like, the parents that have the kids that just run around and scream and they just ignore them, right? Like, I actually know somebody. I know somebody who has a kid like that. And I know somebody where it's like the kid is just so screaming and yelling and throwing stuff and yanking on arms, and you can tell that they've built an armor to it rather than addressing the problem. And they just completely ignore it. And it's like, you're sitting there and you're watching, you're like, oh my God, like, how is this freaking happening? Like, you need to, like, take that kid and go put him in his room and put him in a timeout. And you can tell that they've just chosen the option of, I'm just tired, I'm just gonna ignore it. And you know what's gonna happen? That kid's he's gonna grow up, and he's gonna think that if anything's going tough, he can just scream and throw a tantrum and throw shit around. And you know what's gonna happen when he doesn't have a mom and dad around that just ignore him? People are gonna take notice of that shit and do something about it. And that kid's going to learn a really harsh lesson, and you know whose fault that is? The parent. That is the parent's fault for not dealing with that shit. You can't just ignore your kids. You can't just ignore them. If you ignore them, it's going to become a way bigger problem down the road. So please, raise your kids. Bernie from Austria, thank you for the €2. He said, is this really live? Seems recorded. He put a smiley face on it, though. He's just joking. Tom Lant, thank you for the €10. Said, you guys are rocking it, enjoying the show. Large J. Senry, thank you for the 45 DKKs. Are those Danish crowns?
I think so, yeah.
Those who are unaware of the walking in the darkness will never seek the light. BL.
We'll see. Yeah, I like that. If you don't know, if you don't know something is there, then you'll never. Yeah.
Turn on the lights.
Can we go back to the kids gambling on mobile games with parents' money? What if parents, no matter what, do nothing? What is the solution? There isn't. You can't. If you're not going to use the tools available to you, then that's your fault. There's no solution to people who actively refuse to change. You can't force someone.
You want to know a really cool trick that I learned
That's
about?
not my problem.
You know, you keep your
not the
kid from
company's
stealing the
problem.
credit card. You don't give an opportunity.
credit
You just
I
or
mean,
you don't have a credit card. That's another option too. But I mean, like, if you
it's
say
an extreme what if, it's look, if parents no matter what do nothing, there isn't a solution, because no matter what solution you offer, they're not going to do it.
Let's put it this way: if you have a child and you feel like you're at your wit's end and there's nothing more you can do, and you just ignore them and you let them take over, expect a monster. Expect a monster. I mean, you think they're a monster now? You wait until later. What's the problem is you are not willing to do what needs to be done. Okay, because
restrictions are out of the question. Yes, by far. You need to take, at some point, you need to take personal responsibility for your actions.
Dude, you do not want the government stepping in on that shit. You do not. Oh my God, dude. Do you really think about the implications of that? If you let the government raise your children, okay, you just gave up all freedom. Like you can't. You're not even allowed to say the word freedom anymore.
You're just. It should be gambling. It should be considered gambling. But the thing is,
they actually did pass a law on that, loot crates or whatever.
The government doesn't move fast enough to regulate the evolving technology.
Here's the other thing, though.
We're going to start going down a weird political path by even touching on this subject.
Oh, you don't like those political paths? Me, I live for them. I live for them.
It's because the system's woefully out of date. You got a bunch of old white guys.
We do
who don't understand how things work nowadays.
I gotta pee really bad. I'll be right back.
Oh my God! I gotta pee. I can't pee. I'm old. I'm sorry. I can't do this. I can't do this because the system isn't built for the society that we live in today. And I'm going to start going down into a path that I don't know enough about to start commenting on, and I don't feel comfortable doing that. But it just, old black guys with people, it doesn't matter. It's people. It's a group of people who are out of touch with the way the world is. But if you're letting your kids use your credit card for loot crates, that is your fault, not the gaming company. 100%. 100%. There are tools in place to stop that sort of thing, and if you actively refuse to use them, it's your fault. I don't care. It's not EA's problem to protect you from your own stupidity. There is, oh man, it just drives me fucking nuts. There's no excuse anymore.
Nope.
If it pops into your head, oh my gosh, Johnny used my credit card on my iPhone. Maybe I was letting my kid use my phone, and he was able to buy $400 worth of loot crates in whatever. How literally you type into whatever search engine, how do I stop my kid from spending money in apps? iPhone. Boop.
Lock that shit down.
Gobs of information. You could call Apple or whatever and say, hey, this is what happened. How do I stop this from happening again? And they will walk you through it. There is no excuse anymore. It's willful ignorance. It's a desire to not care.
Boom.
I want someone else to do it for me.
Yep. If your kids are assholes, they're assholes because you let them become assholes.
To me, there's a line. Cigarettes can't market to kids for a reason. They could say it's the parents' fault too. It is.
Don't let your kid watch stuff that markets to them. Control their content.
Vape companies got smacked down. They're not allowed to sell like fruity flavors and shit.
I saw that. Yep.
They got in trouble for target. Literally, I mean, and it's blatant. It was they saw a loophole. They took advantage, and it got close. The fact that I hear that there are a good number of middle schoolers from the teenager in my life, that there are a good number of middle schoolers, we're talking 6th, 7th, 8th grade kids vaping.
Yeah. Dude, I know somebody. I know a mom.
Nicotine, but
dude, I know a mom that lets her 3 kids that are all under the age of 13 vape. And when I went over there and I like saw that, I was like, "Are you fucking kidding me, Mom? Where's the vape juice? Oh, it's in the top drawer. Go get it." I'm like, "What the fuck?" Like, because Mom's a big vapor, right? So she's like, "Oh, I don't want to be a hypocrite, so I let my girls vape too." It's like, dude, their lungs are still developing. Like, really? Are you gonna let them get pneumonia and shit and die? Like, I was so mad, but I couldn't say anything during the situation. Couldn't say anything during the situation because unfortunately her husband just passed away at the time, so I couldn't really, you know. But I was like, I was just sitting there and I was like, it was so painful to watch because it's like,
too. You know, there's a line there too. Is like, how is it my place to tell you you're parenting your kids wrong?
Not really. No, it's not mine either.
You know,
I'm just giving you my opinions as a parent. I'm not giving as a parent and as a former child.
It's just no. Online companies and to an extent, clout chasing YouTubers are to blame. No,
you
it's
let
not.
your kid watch those people. You let your
kid
Oh,
anymore.
that drives me nuts. My kid's you should know what your kid is watching. If you don't want your kid watching Logan Paul, don't allow them to block that shit. Don't let them watch. Don't let them on YouTube.
It's like, okay, look, there is a certain amount of responsibility that advertising was targeted directly at teenagers and younger people. Yes, there is a bit of responsibility to the companies that knew what they were doing. There is no doubt in my mind that, especially in the vape companies, Juul in particular, right? We're gonna pick on them for this particular example. Juul knew what they were doing. They had ads with younger folk and they were lifestyle ads and like, how cool am I to have my Juul and blah blah blah. There were influencers on Instagram and things like that showing a image that it was cool. Okay. But at some point you have to take responsibility for the content that your children are consuming. You are allowing them to do that. You let them have an Instagram. You let them have a cell phone that is very capable of blocking content that you find objectionable. It is your fault. Yes, there is some responsibility that this content is being created and that it is targeted to an impressionable audience. But at some point, you let that into your home.
Yeah.
You let the fucking porn channels be unlocked on your TiVo. You don't want your kid watching R-rated movies on the fucking TiVo. You can block that stuff. Yeah. Like there are tools in place. At a certain point, you can have all the tools in the world, but it's up to you to use them. You can't have the switch flipped for you.
And if they get by all your armor, if they get by absolutely all your armor, then guess what? That is the learning experience where you have to take that situation and drive it home really fucking hard not to let that happen again. Because if you let it slide and you don't make them feel that, oh, the punishment is worse than the crime, they're just going to do it again and again and again and again.
What if the kid uses a VPN? Don't let them install a VPN on the computer.
I'm gonna let you guys in on a little secret here. You know what you can do? You know what you can do here? You can literally just disconnect the motherfucking internet and not let your kid even get on the fucking thing if you don't want to. You assume the responsibility. The second you let your kid on the internet, if you don't know how to use that fucking thing, that's like me giving the keys to my car to my son and being like, here's the keys to my car. Oh shit, he fucking wrecked it down the street and killed 3 people on the sidewalk. It's not my fault. I didn't tell him to do that. Like, no, you have to train the kid to drive. You have to understand the car better than the kid, otherwise you can't teach them. That's the point. Like, I'm so mad, dude, because I'm a parent of a 10-year-old boy. Like a 10-year-old boy. Like I've got like 2 years before this kid is like hacking through my router and shit. And I'm gonna be up here beep boop beep boop boop blocking everything. And I am gonna lock him in his room and take everything out there except for fucking a sheet of plywood and a sheet, if that's what it takes to keep him from being a bad boy. If that's what if he keeps. And if he has bad influences, I'm going to pull those influences out. And if I can't pull those influences out, like it's public school, I'm going to teach him why those are bad influences. And I'm going to teach him what kind of trouble he's going to be in if he decides to like roll that way and do what his friends are doing.
I'm a 15-year-old. I was just curious. Well, that's fine. It's just a lot of excuses. Like,
tell your parents to beat you more. Just kidding. I'm just kidding.
All right,
I was kidding earlier, by the way. I don't know if you saw in chat, but I said I was kidding about the whole beat your kids. It's like, dude, you can't do that anymore.
No.
Like when I say beat your kids, I'm literally saying figure out where their weakness is. It is literally a battle being a parent. Figure out where their weakness is, because, dude, spanking kids used to be like what you did to get. You don't have to do that anymore. It's like, dude, you take your kids like Xbox away, you take the TV out of the room, you take their iPad away or their iPhone away. They will be like, please don't do this to me. You're ruining my life. And you stand your fucking ground and drive that point pull home. And next time they're like sitting there trying to do bad shit on their phone, they're going to be like, oh shit, if I do this, I'm going to lose my phone for another 5 days. I'm going to get caught.
Yeah. It's finding their currency is the way that I liked.
I like that wordage.
It was I can't remember who put that in my head, but it's finding their currency, right? You got to find what motivates the kid, what their plus side is, and take it away.
Yep. And another thing too is there will be bad kids out there. That's the hardest part about being a parent, is controlling the interactions that your kids have with other children that have bad parents and raise their kids poorly. But you can mitigate those. Be in your child's life. Be in your child's life. That oh my god, this is a great topic though. I like shit like this. I know you don't. I know you're the guy that's like always super happy and upbeat. But this is a good conversation
thing for me though.
Good
It's been a super learning thing because like I'm a new parent in a big way.
Yep.
I have different thoughts on the world than my lady. We do agree on a lot of things, but I've been faced with questions like in a way moral questions. You just get Windows 10 S.
Dude, I was laughing so hard when I saw that,
because like they're kids, right? And so they shouldn't, I feel like maybe they shouldn't have the same like moral compass that I do as an adult, right? And like, I don't know, it's a learning thing, and I have feelings about certain topics and certain actions that might not necessarily be appropriate for a child to know, and so I conflict sometimes. Yeah. With like the things that I've learned based on my exposures and experiences, and it's like, man, is that the kind of path that they should take, or should they take a different path to get to a similar place that I'm at? And it's just interesting, and I feel like it's we all kind of learn, we learn together when we encounter mistakes or actions or topics that come up. You can't account for everything, and just learn.
And the thing is, you raise your kids the best you can, and if they still somehow grow up and decide to fall into the wrong people and get addicted to drugs and go do bad crimes and shit like that, that's on them. You gave them the tools and they used them poorly. But I'll tell you what, as long as they're a kid and they're living under the roof of your house, you are responsible for that shit. And stop trying to shirk that responsibility. The second that you kick them out the door and you're like, fuck it, you're 18 years old, go. Get out of here. Like, you can go get a house now. Fuck off. If you do that, then they can take the tools that you gave to them and hopefully make good decisions. But there's no guarantee. There's no guarantee. People are unique, man. Once they're out of your house, they're going to have influences you don't control. But while they're under your roof, if you think, oh my God, I can't stop my kid from doing this, you sure as hell ain't trying very hard, because there is always a way to stop somebody under your house from doing something that, you know, and if your kid is still acting out and no matter what you do, it doesn't seem to work, you're not doing enough. You're just not doing enough, and you need to ask for help.
Yeah, I don't know.
I just don't get that. That seems like such a, like, that's how to create a monster. You want to talk about making a monster? It's like, say, oh, I can't control my child, I don't know what to do. You're like on Dr. Phil's show and you're like, I can't stop her, she's so mean. And then they go look at the family and they find out that the kid's just ignored and just sits there and watches whatever they want on TV. And they're like, oh, I watch South Park when I'm like 6 years old and I love Eric Cartman, so I'm going to act like Eric Cartman. And then the parents are like, fuck, what a little monster. How did that happen? Yeah, there's a reason. It's that your kid isn't just going to like implicitly grow up and be like 12 years old and just go fucking batshit crazy. Yeah, they're going to have hormonal things and stuff, and they're going to do shit that they regret. But use those learning experiences. If you don't, they're just going to keep happening, and they're going to happen more frequently, and eventually you're going to throw your arms in there and be like, all right, I did everything I could as a parent. Fucking I'm out. And that's your fault. I see that as your fault. It's my fault. If Xander grows up and becomes a complete terror to society, it doesn't matter if he's on the autism spectrum or not. If he grows up and he's an absolute terror on society and he's running around and committing crimes, doing stuff, and he's like, oh, I couldn't help it because I was autistic, I am not going to accept that as an excuse. I am his parent. I have to learn how to teach him and how he thinks, and I have to work with him. We all have to work with him. And we want to raise him so that he understands right from wrong. He understands emotions. He understands that other people need to be happy and not just him. And we figure those things out with him. We navigate that course. If he fails, I failed. It's like, dude, he's my video game character. You know, I'm just trying to make it through the game high score and not die, you know, and get to the end and rescue the princess. Hopefully have some grandkids. That's all I'm after. Xander's bandwidth to dial-up. I like the one guy, he's like, and if none of that works, just cut off the power to the house. I mean, you're not wrong. If that's what it takes, dude, if you have to take your kid, because they are so fucking bad, if you have to put them on a plane and fly them to Alaska and live in a fucking tent for 30 days in the outback, in a survival situation, if that's what it takes to like knock it into your kid's mind that their life is awesome, do it.
Yeah.
Absolutely do it. My dad used to drag me out camping all the time, and he'd be so drunk, fucking, I'd have to learn how to keep myself alive. He wouldn't feed me. He'd get drunk, pass out at the side of the river. I had to figure out how to cook. I had to figure out how to eat. I had to figure out how to do a lot of shit. That's not the right way to do it, though. Don't do that. My parents are a really terrible fucking example. But it's like in those situations, I was so scared that all of a sudden it was like, you know what? Being comfortable at home is kind of a nice thing. Like, I understood the value of what I had. But the reason I understood the value of what I had is because my shitty parents kept, like, you know what my mom did when I was 14 years old? I told her I was calling the cops because they were selling weed. I said, I'm calling the cops. The dare officer told me to call the cops. You guys are so mean. You know what my mom did? She walked into my room, she grabbed my computer, and she took it out on the front yard, and she just set it in the front yard. And I was like, whoa, what are you doing? And she didn't say nothing. She went back to my room, pulled a drawer out, went out and just dumped the drawer in the front yard. And she kept doing this. And I'm like, what are you doing? What is she doing? She's like, you big man, you're going to call the cops? You don't live here no more. She's like, go get your own fucking house. And I was like 14 years old. And I'm like, what is happening? So my mom, she throws everything. And I'm crying at that point. And I'm like, oh, Mom, I didn't mean it. She's like, no, too fucking late. You go call the cops. Here's the phone. Call 911 right now. And she hands me the phone. She's like, call the cops. She's like, because I guarantee you when you get out of prison, you will not have a place to go. She's like, I will not give you a fucking house. Like, you don't understand the value of what you have right now. And I'm like, no, I didn't mean it. So she kicked me out the front door, closed the door, and locked the door. And I didn't have a key. And she let me sit out on the front yard, just fucking bawling my eyes out, screaming. Luckily, there's no neighbors. Wow. We're on like 65. All my shit, like not everything, but it was like all my clothes, my computer. Yeah. She grabbed a blanket and put it out there so I'd have a blanket because she wanted to like lay, oh, you can sleep on the grass. It's soft. And so she threw it out there. And it's like, it took 45 minutes. That's all it took. 45 minutes of me basically crying myself out on the front yard, flipping out and freaking out before I was like knocking on the door. And I'm like, I'm really sorry. It'll never happen again. I'll never do it. Please give me a second chance. And my mom opens the door and she's like, yeah, you should be happy with what you got. She's like, go put all your shit away. And she made me like go pick up everything off the lawn, go put it back in the drawers, fold all my laundry. Like I spent the whole day like just putting my room back from what she did in like 15 minutes. And I learned a valuable lesson that day. And the valuable lesson was, if my parents go to jail, I don't have a place to live, or I go into the foster care, or I go into some shitty situation that's way worse than what I had. And even though that's a horrible fucking example of good parenting, that is a terrible example. The point is, my parents were like, you're our kid, we're going to raise you, and you're not going to be a little shit, and you're not going to take everything for granted, and you're not going to walk over us, and you're not going to threaten us. If you let your kid get to the point where they can threaten you and they can get an upper arm on you, you fucking failed as a parent. You've absolutely, if your kid can say shit and do shit where you're like, oh my God, they're scaring me, I can't have them do that. No, tell them to call the cops. Cops will show up and fucking wrestle them up and scare them. Cops will be like, why are you calling 911? Because your parent took your fucking iPhone away. Like, how about we put you in the back of the car in some handcuffs for a half an hour and teach you a valuable lesson? They'll do that shit. I mean, it depends on where you live, but that actually did happen to me once. I got to sit in the back of a cop car for a little while when I was 16. But no, you do what you got to do, but don't make excuses. You can make excuses about everything else, just not your kids. Like, your kids are your responsibility. You made them. Raise that shit up, okay? That's your Lego kit. Build it. We are at 1:39. You want to start wrapping her up?
Yeah, I think we're good.
All right, let's see here. Doug, I don't. He's just like, all my energy is drained. All my energy is drained. All my good energies.
It's one of those things I have strong opinions about, but hey, man, I also try not to judge. You know, like I'm not saying my way is the best or the right or the only way.
Not by a long shot. Yeah, not me either.
But I am resolute in the things that I have said, and time will tell if I'm right or wrong.
Just at the end of the day, my kid has to live with yours. Yours has to live with mine, right? So
yeah, that's like, not the point. Like I tell the girls, look, my number one job is not to be your friend. I like you. I want you to like me. I want you to love me. I love you, and I like you as people. But my job is to make sure that you don't grow up to be an asshole. That you are a good adult, a good human being. That is my number one goal. My number two goal is to embarrass you as often as possible, and that is the long and the short of it. Is like I need to make sure that you grow up to be a decent human being.
Exactly.
That is my goal.
I think that's a good pin in it, dude. Angry Aussie made me laugh, though. I have to read this. He's like, kid, I'm going to call the police. Me? Okay, it's going to take them 15 minutes to get here. My mom totally could have used that one. All right, guys. Well, it has been an interesting tech talk today with a little segue there at the end, but it was based on technology. The question was, how do you stop the people from, like, your kids from stealing your shit and like buying stuff and games, and how do you hold them responsible? And our short answer is raise your kids right.
Learn.
That's it.
Learn.
Learn.
Like,
Raise your kids right.
That's the thing. Like, okay, you may not know now, but there's no excuse on not learning. Learn.
No.
Okay, your kid got around your solution. Learn more.
Yeah.
Figure it out. How do I do this thing? How do I keep my kid from doing this? How do I, and yeah.
Dude, education comes at a price. I mean, it literally does. Like everything. It doesn't matter. Even if you go get a job and you lose the job because you sucked at it, right? You can learn from that experience, be better, go get a better job. Same thing in your house. If your kid does something wrong, don't be like, oh my God, they spent $500. What do I do? That's the cost of education. You take that $500, you teach them $1,000 worth of stuff. It never happens again, and you got a bargain.
Yeah, and learn it yourself.
And
like,
learn it
oh
yourself.
shit, I didn't even, because like sure, I didn't know this was even possible. Well, now you do, and now you figure out how to keep it from happening.
Search the internet. Google is your friend. You can learn everything. You know what? I would even venture a guess that if you took somebody who is passionate about learning how to use the internet, like somebody who focused their abilities on learning the internet and the intricacies of it and indexing information quickly and finding information quickly, I would wager a bet that person would become more professional in nearly any job on the planet than somebody going to college and paying $100,000 to take 8 years of courses from a professor.
There's so much information.
So much information. Use it. It's there. It's for the taking. All right. Thank you so much, everybody, today for all the super chats, all the support. We really do appreciate it. Houston and I split that up. Thank you so much, Bazingas, for coming by and making it rain like a strip club again. We really do appreciate that. We had a great show today, man. It was awesome. So. We will be back again really next week at Saturday, 10 a.m. Pacific time. And we both stream during the week. Yep, we both stream during the week too on Twitch. So if you want to check that out, it's down in the video description. The links. Just make sure you're following the Twitch so you get a notification when he goes live or I go live. I stream every other day. So every 48 hours. So just look at the last stream I did, and just 48 hours from that, I'll stream again. And I've done that successfully for 55 shows. So I'm like,
dude, that's awesome.
Dude, kicking ass on that. I'm pretty proud of that. All right, guys, we're going to go ahead and wrap it up and get back to our daily lives. I'm going to go down and see if I can take a little nap because I didn't sleep very well last night, and then I'll find something else to do. But guys, check out the NASCAR racing event tomorrow, right, on Fox.
Yeah, tomorrow.
Yeah, it's going to be all over the place. There's some venue you'll be able to find and watch it. If not live, after it, you'll find it everywhere. It's going to be real NASCAR drivers for the second time now racing in a series, and I think it's great. I think it's the future. All right, take it easy, guys. Till next time. Bye. End stream. And then it says I need to still end stream like it always does, and ask me 5 times, and it's still asking if I want to end the stream.